What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That is your girl Adara in the lovely green, and I'm in the Free Fall Friday red. Yeah, no, it's not free falling. And we're gonna wait for everyone to come on over from the other chat. We already have some of the OGs here waiting, ready in the wait, I guess. Alex Enzo, what's up? Michael Lloyd, we got Pillsbury, Hold My Beer, Darwin, Cairo, Pitchbull, Easy, Trader, we got Christian, we got Mo, we got Bob, we got Self-Ability, Benson is in the house as well as Krishana, Cass. FFIE broke $3 for anyone who's following along with the Katina Man's trade on that long, big move up there. Keep your eye on that. Micro player in the house as well, Derek B. Shout out to everybody. We got a great lesson on for you guys today. But before we get to that, good morning, Adair.
Good morning. How are you this fine Friday?
Can't complain. Got some dirt on my face. Everything's good. You know what I mean?
The reaction to the mustache has been, it's been a reaction.
It's interesting.
Yeah,
yeah.
reaction to the mustache.
I like reactions.
I like that.
What are you looking at?
Okay, you know, I already had I've had the unique distinction of having 2 eyebrow-raising trades already in less than 10 minutes, but you know what that means? We only go up from here. Look at this Boeing short. I like that we were like flip-flopping around that 182.60 to 182.20. I'm like, cool, great. Then, before I even have a moment to breathe, to react, it decides to pop into 182.90s. I wanted to get at 182.80, so to call this an L is, I think, fair. Don't love it, but you know what that means? You just got to keep going, keep persevering, and finding new opportunities. And this TQQs, I have to say I'm proud of the management here. Wow. I liked it off the bounce of that bottom, and I said I'm going to give this like literally less than 5 pennies. I said if we break below that 63.18, I'm outie, and indeed I was outie. But you know what? When I'm not outie, is I'm always going to find new opportunities. In my brain, that worked better. But yeah, I like Tesla. I like that short off that 177.50-ish chop and churn. I don't think I'm going to get it, but we are going to get this bread here on How to Trade. What are you looking at?
I am in 2 trades at the moment. I've been in Apple all day. We wet our beak on some profits on that, playing the range, the 10 penny, the whole 10 penny, 15 penny range to be fair, 189.85 and $2 to the top. I just got long Amazon at this level here because, well, we're up 0.5 percentage point. We come into VWAP, we do a bit of a hold, almost 2 dojis now, right now on the Zon, holding up at these levels. We'll see if it ends up holding up here. If not, market just took an absolute dump through 18,675, right down through 18,650. 18,650 is the break-even point on the day. It is where we closed out yesterday. So, you know, encountering price action there, usually there's a bit of tug and war between buyers and sellers. So I'll keep eyes on that. I'm in 2 trades at the moment. I know they're not reflected on the position board because neither one has filled. Oh, I did get stopped at Apple. So I am out of my Apple position now with the remaining amount. This one was a bit of a bamboozler. So got long here, covered here, and well, we got stopped out. Almost break even for the rest. I think I lost 4 pennies on that last trade. So keeping an eye on that. No other real trades for me. It looks like it might be, well, it looks like these Mag 7 are all starting to curl down here, really, with the exception of Tesla, the only one that's above the volume weighted, the 10 period moving average. So I'm going to be looking to short here. Just really, I need better levels. Right now, I just got stopped out of my Amazon position as well because the market is headed down aggressively. We may see 18.6 sooner rather than later here, Adara.
Yeah, I mean, I just took another L. I would love to say we're making more M's, but that would require making any M's. No, I'm joking. Took a small AMD position, wanted the VWAP bounce. We broke below 60s. I said buy. Managed it okay, but I'm more just like, you know, I think I'm getting a little bit too excitable, perhaps. I need to focus on my ranges. And I think I need to put less pressure on myself as well. Because it's like, you know, this has not been my week. We did have a positive day on Wednesday, but unfortunately that did not anywhere near make up for some eyebrow-raising moments otherwise in the week. But, you know, just really happy to have the opportunity to be live, trying to practice that gratitude, as we mentioned a couple weeks ago, and just be happy to be here and take these opportunities, just take the chance to be in this market. Also, Microsoft, hi. I drew this, well, I thought I drew a line. Maybe I didn't draw a line. In the pre-market, I liked this area, this 420.20. It actually ended up being a VWAP projection. And look at this bounce we have on the bottom. Futures kind of bouncing here at support. I'm very tempted to take this Microsoft long, so I think that's what we're going to be doing. Hopefully, we get a macro large move to the upside of Microsoft, and that made no sense, but neither do these markets sometimes. You just got to keep going, having a good time. Yeah, Matt, which we do get very excitable here. It's because we're having a great time trying to bring all this content, and this market has always, this market's pretty excitable as well. So you got to keep up the energy, keep up that pace, and keep going. Rohit Sharma wants to look at Hood, so I can quickly put Hood up in here. Oh, this is nice. I was just going to say flat top break, and Robinhood's like, I beat you to it, Adara. I actually did the flat top break. I'm like, okay, Robinhood, sorry about that. Yeah, Robinhood making new high of days, Rohit. And I have to say, I love the support we had forming here at 1940. Look at this. We curl, we test, and then we shoot to the upside. It's a great look. The other level I like on this, so I don't know if we'll ever get that retest, is that 1908 level. Look at this kind of pre-market high, right? Then we go to the bottom, have this drop, come back, bounce around that area, and then come back to the upside. So 19 and that 1970, I think we're having a really nice move to the upside here on Robinhood. Up, I didn't even realize we're up 10%. But yeah, hopefully I will be up 10%. No, I'm okay. I just want to make some positive trades.
I love it.
So happy to be here.
Good vibes.
Go team.
All right, guys. I am looking at the following small cap gappers, and I love how the big kahunas were trading these monsters today because there was plenty to do on these names, so we'll keep an eye on them. Now, obviously, I've got the regular memes up there, AMC, GME. I don't know why JDZG is not loading up on this chart, but it's been attempting to retrieve data for like half an hour. FFIE, still a rocket ship to the high side. I say look for a moving average off which to get in. Don't get in willy-nilly, or it's going to be that technical area of support on the price action. The one that I've already set up a dip trade on that I'm trying to get off on the 10-period moving average is ASTS. I mentioned this one yesterday. This is an earnings winner from Wednesday afternoon. Had a decent day yesterday and an even better day today. Took 4 on a closing basis and now is knocking the door 5. 499 right now is the HOD, and it is right there. I have my dip trade set at 482. I might have to move up that bad boy because the 10 period is dynamic. It moves as well. So as the 10 period moves up, so must my resting entry on this name. So those are the ones that I'm watching. FFI, there's so many more that we'll get to, I'm sure. I see FLJ that just showed up, halted to the high side, now above a buck. There's a whole bunch that are sub $1 that are not even making its way onto my scanner. I see Tupperware was doing things today, knocked on the door, 2 Tupperware on the way to $2, coming down into 186. So there's a whole bunch of small cap gappers to get to today. There's just not enough room on my chart, so we might have to kick out GME and AMC off these. Yeah, sorry guys. We might have to kick them off the side charts. We'll see exactly what we get on this day. Now, the ones that I want to continue to watch is this Amazon trade that I got shaken out of. I'm a little disappointed with that because it did end up holding the 50 period on a closing basis. It did get wicked down though with that big market move down when we tanked off 18,675 all the way down into 18,6 1/3. So I'm going to be watching those specific names for possible entries. I do love how Tesla just bounced off the 10 period on the 5, conflating too with that whole dollar level of 177. It's up 50 pennies off that quick dip trade, putting in a bit of a hammer candle right now on TSLA. No really understanding what the hell is going on here, why this is moving so much.
We had that China news
I know,
that came out.
but
Like,
that came
didn't explain
super
that
late.
pump. That's what I was saying. Yeah,
I know, I
confused.
didn't really understand it. I got to tell you, there. Oh, here. What is this? Autofile Musk's data diplomacy? This can't be it. No, this is like a whole long...
Some analyst thing.
It came in hot, like when it has these red things,
yeah.
the fire, that means it's a hot news item.
Oh.
When it's not like that, then yeah. So we'll have to wait and see. I'm not...
The fire.
The fire. Remember that?
Names.
Yeah, so we'll get right to that. But right now, we do have a great sponsor that we have to tell you about, guys. So it is time now for the ad read, Ram. And we are brought to you, guys, we're brought to you by Blue Chew. Guys, remember the good old days when you were always ready to go? Well, those days don't have to be over. Blue Chew is an online service that delivers the same active ingredients as Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra, but in convenient chewable tablets and at a fraction of the cost. Sign up at bluechew.com, consult with one of their licensed medical providers, and you'll receive your prescription discreetly delivered to your door within days. No awkward doctor visits, no waiting in line at the pharmacy. Blue Chew's tablets are made in the USA and shipped directly to you. And we've got a special deal for you. Try Blue Chew free when you use the promo code TraderTV at the checkout. Just pay $5 for shipping. So visit bluechew.com and use that promo code TraderTV for that special $5 deal. Shout out to the folks there at Blue Chew. So I like how you guys put blue circles all up in the chat there. It's very appropriate. I love it. It is actually appropriate.
Apropos.
Yeah, it's very apropos. So what are you looking at before we start the lesson? Anything that you want to mention before we get started going?
Yeah, I wish I had something I was looking at. I tried to get that NVIDIA 935 long because that was gorgeous. I missed it. But you know what? I just got to keep going, got to keep pushing. I will say, and I've said this a couple times, I think the hardest part of going live is the mental aspect. So I'm just trying to refine that, do my, my mental reps, put myself in these situations, and just find ways to cope and deal with it. And yeah, trading is not for the faint of heart. And as someone who's a little bit jumpier, a little bit more excitable, I'm trying to, tame myself in, having lots of fun. And I still like this NVIDIA 935.
I like it. Okay, so let's get right to business, baby. We're talking about today the limitations of moving average crossovers. The big kahunas were able to give you some of their stories earlier. We're going to give you some of ours. So traders, welcome. Moving average crossovers are a popular technical analysis tool, but like any other strategy, they do have their limitations. Today, we'll explore these limitations and approach them, these limitations and how to approach them to become a more well-rounded trader. So the allure and the Achilles heel of crossovers. So what's the good, the bad, and the ugly? Crossovers are fantastic for identifying trends, but they're not perfect. Here are some key limitations to consider. They are, by their nature, lagging indicators. They are showing you past price action, right? Moving averages react to past price movements. This means they might miss the very beginning or end of a trend, potentially leading to late entries or late exits, an Achilles heel that they can't really come out of. And they also are prone to false signal, especially during volatile and consolidative markets. They really do work best in trending markets. That's why it's incumbent upon you to be able to look at the instrument or market and say, yes, this is trending. And you usually can identify that with higher highs and higher lows, or the opposite. So false signals, as discussed previously, crossovers can be quite misleading at times, especially, like I mentioned, during volatile periods, or using shorter term moving averages. They also tend to have more false signals than their longer term cousins. This can result in unnecessary trades and, sadly, potential losses. And they also offer limited information by their very nature. Crossovers only tell you part of the story. They don't consider fundamental factors, bless you.
Bless you.
Like the company news or economic data or actual fundamentals of the company that can significantly impact their stock price. So some of the weaknesses, they're lagging in nature. They tend to have volatile signals during volatile markets, false signals during volatile markets and consolidated markets, as well as they give you only part of the picture vis-a-vis the limited information that they convey. So how do you embrace a multidisciplinary approach here to get the best out of moving average crossovers? So how do we overcome these limitations? Here are some key strategies. Combine moving average crossovers with other technical indicators. We talked about this on Tuesday or Wednesday, I forget which day, when we talked about how to combine them with momentum indicators like RSI and stochastics. So don't rely solely on crossovers, integrate them with momentum indicators. And if you didn't see that lesson, go back and watch it. I think we cover it quite succinctly. Not only momentum indicators, but you got to look at the volume analysis we talked about, price action by looking at support and resistance to get a more comprehensive picture of the market or the instrument that you're trading. And you can also incorporate fundamental analysis, not something that we do on the show, but something that you could, absolutely do at home. You could understand the company's financials, the industry trends, and the broader economic factors that could affect that name. This can help confirm or contradict signals generated by the crossovers. And practice patience when using these bad boys. Don't force trades based on weak crossover signals. Wait for confirmation and market conditions that align with your strategy to improve your chances of success. And here's an example of a moving average crossover and a retest of that confirmation. I love that. So there you go. You get the crossover here. You're supposed to get, you know, whatever short. I think this is a short signal, and then it comes right back in to retest it. So for example, what's different in this situation than, for example, taking a breakout of $300 on Caterpillar and then waiting for it to come back down to retest that 300? That is a technical thing that we do. When a key level of resistance is breached, oftentimes it gets back, it comes back to get tested again, and you're looking for it to hold. So kind of a similar principle here with moving average crossovers. And this is an example of a moving average crossover with confirmation from a stochastic oscillator. So you get the actual cross between the two lines on the stochastics. If you don't know how to use them, you can go back to the lesson that we taught you that in. Just use the YouTube search page on the YouTube homepage, sorry, for Trader TV, and then just type in stochastic oscillator, and you'll get the lesson that Adair and I did there. So you're looking, in this case, for a bullish moving average crossover, which is a buy, and you're looking for confirmation from the price action as well as a crossover from the stochastic. So keep that kind of thing in mind. And your takeaway here, right? No single indicator can guarantee the success in the ever-changing market that we're in, and by understanding the limitations of crossovers and embracing a multidisciplinary approach that combines technical and fundamental analysis, you'll be better equipped to make more informed trading decisions and navigate the market with greater confidence. Adara?
Yeah, thank you so much for going over that. And definitely check us out on, if you want to see past lessons, just again, how to trade. And we will talk about, you guessed it, how to trade.
Yes.
You're having a great time here every single weekday, 1 to 3. You know what's not having a great time, though, is this Microsoft short. I'm going to get out of it.
I was just about to get into
really?
it. I swear.
I think my wrist management might be too tight. I want to see what we do at 419.70s, because look at this. Like, look at that. To me, if we reject there, I'm pleased as punch.
Interesting.
This is a really small position. I'm just trying to practice getting involved in stuff I like. Also, you know what's really fun? And I say fun with all the sarcasm I'm physically capable of mustering, which isn't much. Look at this Boeing short. I had the right idea on this. I got out top wick. So I should have probably risked a little bit more, because that would have been a really nice short. But you know what? I'm going to give myself some credit for pointing it out. Did I manage it or trade it appropriately? Jury's out. No, it's not. I found very guilty of trading that poorly. But the idea was there, right? So it's just like looking back at this. I saw what I saw with these lower highs and these chop and churn. So the thesis was right. The exit was clearly a mistake on my part. So I just want to, you know, be a little bit more, when I analyze my trades, I want to be a little bit less hard on myself and more like looking at the whole scope of things. But yeah, right now still in Microsoft, as long as we keep rejecting that area, really small position again. Okay, let's see here what we're doing. For a second, I don't know what's going on. I got new contacts. For a second, I thought I saw 419.95 and was like, ah. But no, it is 419.65. We're all good. I like this rejection. And you are also interested in Microsoft?
I am. I already put it in. I'm going to put it, I'm waiting either here to watch for a 10-period take or break, or I've got my short already, as you can see the purple line there, for the 20-period retracement. Now, what I'm looking at here on the side screen, let me bring it in to show you guys, is the 5 on Softy. And look what we did here at the 20. I mean, this is just beautiful. We've been shorting Softy at the 20, I think, all week long. So right now, it did do a 10, it's at the 10 period, which is why I liked, when Adara said that, I liked it. And in addition to coming into the 10 period, this is what she was pointing out. This 419.75 kind of flat bottom there, but it's Microsoft's a $400 name. So 75 kind of really blurs in with 66, right? So one's a 3/4, one's a 2/3. So right now it's having trouble with that level. So I put my short at 88. It doesn't look like it may make it up there. We'll see. I like the short on Softy, but keep your eye for a possible double bottom as well, right? Now, I've been saying this a lot because we've been seeing these double bottoms come in a lot, but we continue to print lower highs, ironically enough. 418.50 is the area I'd be looking for a double bottom. So possibly look for support off 418.50. Yeah, decent move here for the soft one. We'll continue to watch that as well. Apple is continuing to do the range here, but it is putting incrementally lower highs. So it does look like it's getting rejections off the 10. Initially, I was trying to play the range here from 190 to basically 189.85 for a 15-penny range, but it's putting incrementally lower highs, which could be a problem. So nice trade there, Adara. I like that. The one that I like the most now for a long is going to be Tesla. That is until it's not, right? Right now, it's holding the 10 period, which is kind of giving me a long vibes at the moment. So any dips at the 10 period are all being bought up on the 5 right now on TSLA. It's up 1 3/4 more. It looks like going 1.8%. So fantastic look today for the longs on TSLA. I don't have any trades on it at the moment. Wow, Faraday. Where is it going to stop, Faraday? Yeah, we got to get involved in this. We're going to put a dip trade maybe for like a 350 or something like that. The deeper retracements have been going into the 20, the more shallow have been coming into the 10. So let's go FFIE, load up this bad boy, and I'm going to sit at like 55 pennies or something like in and around there. We'll see if we can get anything around there. Right now it's doing the dance at the $0.75. Why the hell didn't it allow me to put an order at 55? Oh, there we go. Now, cool. So I'll be looking at 55s. That's really the front run the size at 51, which is where the 10 period is. It may not make it down there. Let's just be real about it. The other one, ASTS, I'm going to keep my eye. Where'd that one go? There it is. ASTS, this one broke through 5, but is having trouble with $5 right now. Can't really clear it by all that much. It did make it, I think, up to 512 is the HOD on ASTS, up 25%. Good look. And every single drop into the 10 period has been bought up on the 5. So that's another one where I could have a dip trade sitting maybe at 490 or so. I'm more reluctant to do that with this one because we are at the whole dollar level. So if we reject 5, I don't think it's really going to respect the 10 period here at 491, right? So I'm going to wait to see whether this one takes 5 or not, and then I'll weasel a dip trade on this one, Adair.
Yeah, I mean, as you say, I hope you print. I think that's a nice look there. Also, Microsoft might still give you your level that you want because it's being so finicky. Happy I decided to stay in this and didn't panic sell. And it would have been a panic sell because my level that I wanted was 70s that I was going to get out. We were at like 60s and I was like... So I'm happy I stayed in this. And thank you as well, Sharif, for your feedback as well. I appreciate that on this name. Microsoft kind of trickling to the downside. I did get out of Apple here because I wanted that flat bottom break. And I find if I overstay my welcome in these trades, that's where I get chopped up. IWM and Microsoft. I had the unique distinction. They weren't distinctly different, unfortunately. They were both yesterday, Microsoft and IWM, situations where I paper-handed. So I'm trying to avoid doing that. And my issue with both of them is I was holding on to more of a move. And it's like, Adara, you're a range trader. Take your range and get out. And that's what I'm trying to do with Apple. That's also what I'm trying to do with Microsoft. I would really love that 418.60 area. If we don't get it, I'll have to scalp out a little bit earlier. But I do like that we're finally starting to kind of continue to fail this area. I don't know why we're so obsessed with 419.30. Microsoft, if you want to tell me, please let me know. Because this 419.30 area, it's like, we'll leave. And it's like, oh, but I really miss it. It's like, no, you don't, Microsoft. The downside. Yeah, small position here was part. I had a little bit more shares in Apple. The plan was to add here at 97s, and Apple didn't give me that. So wish I could have had a little bit more to make this profit-wise a little bit more spicy. But that, that is what it is. NVIDIA, I'm still watching my gal NVIDIA here. And look at what NVIDIA is doing. We're kind of getting this compression, but we're having clear resistance at this 936.50 area. Like, this is gorgeous. I'm obsessed with this. This is something I want to get involved in. I don't like to be in NVIDIA and anything else. So once Microsoft and I bid each other adieu, I'm going to have to say goodbye to Senior Softy and see what our pal NVDA is up to, because that's the one I really find fun to trade. And I think, oddly enough, I feel my most comfortable when I'm scalping NVIDIA, which is maybe a bizarre sentence for a lot of reasons. Wow. But you have to find your style and find what works for you. And I also, again, want to shout out to Sharif for encouraging me to just kind of do what worked best in the sim. And I found, the scalping's where I feel at home.
Well, it's what you were doing well, right? Like, I mean, I like that. Just play your strengths. All right, so I'll play to mine, I guess, too. We put a dip trade on FFIE, and we were able to profit on it super quick there, as it did come into actually came into the 20. So let's be honest about it. I held this one about 4 pennies against me with the idea that I was definitely going to add on that 20, but old man hands can't hang. I wasn't able to add as quickly as I'd like to. Nice 342 double bottom and then skyrockets up right back into high a day at 377. Actually, I didn't print 77s there. What did it print? Printed 76s, so 1 penny off HOD. This is the 77 print right here at 1121. So nice move. FFIE going to continue to give you until it doesn't. Now, what I'll be looking for is a 20-period break, because you haven't had a 20-period break like essentially all day here. So keep an eye on that. FFIE continue to move to the high side. Now, the other one that I want to put something for is ASTS, but I'm not going to put this, guys, at the 10 period. It's just too close to 5. I'm not comfortable taking that level. What I will take is this 4 3/4. Call me crazy, but that's where I'm going to take it, right? I'm probably going to front run it by a couple of pennies in case, you know, the 20 period moves up by the time it makes its way down. If it makes its way down, it may hold up at the 10. It held up over here. But there's another reason why I like that 4 3/4 as well. It's because it's a smidge above this flat top here at 465. So that was an obvious level that got broken with some volume there. 1 million shares took this one north of that 4 2/3. So good look on ASTS. Good look here on Faraday futures. I'm going to be trading both these monsters right now. So let's go ahead and put our money where, well, someone else's money, where our mouth is, and take this 4 2/3 level. I'm going to put it at 69s, because what's life without whimsy? And we're going to look to defend that level right there. So ASTS, decent move, up 25%. Faraday, I mean, obviously, far more than decent. Keeping an eye on that. All right, let's look at some of these comments here. CompuCare team, LOL, you always make my day when you laugh on the back. Well, she's always dropping hot lines, bro. What do you want from me? She makes me laugh. Zach Griffith, I went to work for 2 days and couldn't trade. Came back today, and now Sharif, the sheriff, has a mustache. Love it, bro. Woo! Someone's nice about my stash today. I'm not getting called Sharif, what was that?
Sharif Mercury.
Yeah, Sharif Mercury, and then there was another one too, like, what was that other dude? Tom Selleck? Yeah, Sharif Selleck or something, because I guess he has a mustache.
Tom Selleck's mustache is way more pronounced. I didn't even realize you had a mustache until enough people pointed it out.
Yeah,
so
I know.
I think it's a little bit more.
Well, we're still growing it.
Yeah.
Fugazi Bear. The crisps are taking the hood?
Oh, I guess it's going to the downside. That's what that means. It's a. Oh, did you hear me?
Yes, I did. I gave her a look.
But yeah, Robinhood, I don't know if the Crips are taking hood yet, because we're still up on the day. We're still up about 12.5%. I see what you mean, though. This little like pause that we have at 2013. This could actually get pretty spicy here in the hood, but I don't know if the Crips have overtaken the hood quite yet. I think I mentioned this area earlier. I think that 1970 area could be really interesting if we can break below 1970, because that was a nice little pop earlier. Then that 1940 as well with that 1920, 1940, that area of resistance and support could be interesting. But I think this doji, you're right, could be a sign that red will be flooding this chart. Also, Willis Addison, $2. OMG. Thank you so much for your super chat, Willis Addison. OMG, still an FFIE. 54 cent, averaged at 160 from 32 cent. I mean, you are printing. I have no other words other than Pamp. That's a great look. Currently, just shy of $4 there. So shout out to Willis Addison making money in FFIE. So yeah, I know your Faraday future is quite bright. That's what I have to say to you. How was your Faraday future looking? Because I know you wanted to get involved in FFIE.
I did. Remember we printed on it already.
Because it was so fast. And
it was super fast.
That was a crazy good look.
And it's coming back down a little bit now. So I'm going to keep my eye on this one. Sadly, ASTS did actually do a 10-period retracement, and it didn't make its way down to 20 Ram. Because it came into 494 and then right back up again through 5. I don't want to chase this, but I mean, I expected a bit of a deeper retracement because we were at 5. I thought, you know, maybe 5 will give be a bigger tug of war between buyers and sellers. Anyway, on 5, I should probably put up Tupperware as well, because you know, even though it's not a big percentage mover on the day, who could disrespect this nice little move up there, $1.56, where we close out today. We move up to 229. So who's going to say no to that? All right, I'm going to hang out here possibly for a 2 defend on top. Now, I'm a little hesitant to take this one because the volume on top, where's the volume at on top? Okay, it's respectable. 6 2/3 million shares on a $2 name. Right? It's okay. It's okay. We'll see what it does at 2. I could be persuaded to have something rest in there at 2 for that VWAP 10-period defend. VWAP a little bit lower than the 10-period at the moment. So good look on all these names. Let's flip back to some of these mega caps. What do we got over here? The soft one is right back into the, well, it's above now, the 10-period moving average. I'm going to still be looking 419.80-ish for that 20-period rejection. It makes its way up there. I do want all the smoke. And that's how it's going to be. What else we got? What else we got? Tesla is still bouncing off that 10-period like it's nobody's business. Google just bounced off the 20. So I got to set something up on here. I'm going to be setting up the short on Softy. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set up a 419 mid-80s short on the soft one, Adair.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you join me in our Microsoft adventures.
Thank you.
I also I made the maybe eyebrow-raising decision to go short Tesla, but I want to explain why. This is absolutely a scalp. I'm literally not taking this off my chart. I'm getting 60s here. We're going to get out here. But basically, the plan for this was I wanted that VWAP bounce, right, with these candles. And then, because I had my dip buy, or sorry, not VWAP, 9 EMA, had my dip buy set at 177.48. We get to 177.52 and we bounce like crazy. So I said, Adara, we're still having higher lows, mind you. I still think this could be a longer term, but take this short. You like the short, take the short. And I almost panic sold because we ran right up to 178 when I got involved, and then we rejected. I took 20 pennies, pleased as punch. This is the type of trading I need to do more often. In, out, scalp, scalp, scalp. You know, we're trying to be door explorer to these markets. Scalper, yes, scalping is what I'll say to that, to make a very odd Dora the Explorer theme joke, I don't know. But yeah, I still like Microsoft right now. I don't like that we made the slightly higher low here at 419.20s, but I still like that we're rejecting that 419.70 area. And I would please as punch. I would be pleased as punch to have Sharif join me in hanging out in Microsoft over here. NVIDIA becoming my range fave again. I was talking to Vikyan Novak in this. He was asking me if I thought it was a short. I said, I mean, for my purposes, but I scalp like crazy, right? For my purposes, I do like the 936.50 rejection. However, giant caveat, we have had higher lows here. So I don't really know if this one is going to be a short, which is what I told Vikyan Novak. And so shout out to you there. I just wanted to address that because I have lots of thoughts on NVIDIA. Always, oddly enough, one of my favorite names to trade. Right now, Microsoft, if you want to join that book of one of my favorite names to trade, you have to do something for me.
Yeah, 21.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was trying to come up with 419. Can you do something for me? But yeah, we're going to have to wait and see. TQQ is making a slightly lower low from that previous 5-minute candle. So if you want to join jump ship there as well, Microsoft, head to the downside, you know what I'd be. And it's pleased as punch. Also, so proud of my management in this long. I tried the long on the bounce. It didn't work. I got out. Sometimes, I was talking to Sean about this yesterday, and I was like, yeah, like, you know, GME, I was so proud because I had a really small loss. And Sean's like, yeah, it's an interesting world we live in when we're happy with, like, small losses. And I was like, right? So, yeah, I just want to shout that out. Shout out to Sean Katina. You can catch us on the Market Recap Show tonight where we do our little fun Q&A.
I like it. All right, I've got my short set up still on Softy. I put a dip trade here. For a long on goggles, it went unfilled, sadly. I'm trying to get a dip trade off the 20 on the 5. And so I just answered a person's question here. He goes by the ticker AIRX. IRX? I don't know how to say it. But anyway, he's like, what does Sharif mean when he says FFIE hasn't come down to the 20? So what I'm talking about there, it's all good, Katina, man. What I'm talking about there is the moving averages on the chart. So these are moving averages which basically smooth out the price action. So I kind of get the feeling by your question that you may be a newer trader, which is cool, absolutely cool. The point is just to tell you about what I mean when I say all this stuff. So all these lines here on my chart, they mean different things. They're representative of different things. Moving averages are basically the average of the price action over a specified period. The specified period can be 10 days, it can be 20, can be 50, can be 200. There are, you know, moving averages that, you know, are more often used by traders than, you know, the ones that are not. So looking at the ones that are being used most is a little bit helpful because then there is more people that are looking at the same levels, and it may end up being that more people take that position like you do. So get acquainted with these moving averages, figure out how they work, how to get them on your chart, depending on what platform you're using, and go back to the beginning of the week because we talk about how to use these moving averages and what their use is and stuff like that. So thank you for your question. I just wanted to point that out. I don't mean to call you out, obviously, but you definitely had an interesting question there. And if you had it, there's probably others. Okay, so I got filled on goggles there at the $0.50, so we'll have to see if it can hold the 20 period here. The market's a little weak here, to be quite honest with you. You know, it's awfully consolidative, a little bit above. A little bit above 18,650, a little bit below. So packing my patience here on this Google's trade, packing my patience, waiting for Softy to trigger. Softy still hasn't triggered, so we'll see what we get. Odyssey fights, simple or exponential? I always use exponential for my day trading. So anything that you see on this desk right here, any charts that I'll show on here are gonna be all exponential. However, when I'm doing my swings or I'm doing my fundamental analysis or something for the longer term account, I'll definitely look at simple because you don't need to wait the price action closer. So that's the difference between exponential and simple. The exponential more heavily weights the recent price action, whereas the simple, it just doesn't discriminate between more recent and more historical. So that's a look there.
Yeah, we're gonna hope to have a comeback here on AMD. Don't want to call it a comeback, but like, yeah, I mean, I still like the long. This is another case, much like my Boeing debacle, where I had the right idea, but the price entry was and I panic sold. So let's talk about AMD, this AM disaster. I got long 167. I was like, oh, it's the pre-market area. We can bounce. I don't know, I was British, but I was. And then I was like, you know, if we kind of break into VWAP, that's where I'll get out. That is where I got out. Probably took a few more shares with it. Not a massive size or anything, but like maybe questionable. AMD, I don't mind this. I wanted to see us bounce off that one. I want like 166.50s. If we break below that, I'm out. We got to 166.55s, bounced beautifully. However, like I said, I've been doing a lot more reading of the book because I find that helps me decide if I'm still going to be confident in the trade. I'm trying to get more comfortable with that. And I don't like that we're kind of flipping on the book. We're seeing my area of entry, that 166.77, flip to resistance a little bit. So I don't love that. But you know what I do love is the fact that we're still bouncing here in this VWAP area. We have a strong catalyst. Look at this range. And when I was watching, so the reason I got out here slightly below that previous top of that 167.40 is because on the book, because I have the book on my side charts and I've been watching this like a hawk, I've noticed that for whatever reason, we had a whole vibe with that 167.37. So I said 167.35s, I'm comfy leaving there. Small position, trying to get back into the saddle, back to basics. Shout out to Christina Aguilera, because that's a great album. And also, you know, Microsoft, you'd be great if you want to drop a little bit lower, but also if you want to put Sharif in there along for the ride too, I'll shout him out. But yeah, Microsoft's, maybe she's like a little picky. She's like, Adara, I already got you. Like, you know. But also, Ramin said that we are the Super Mario Brothers in our side chat. She said, yes. Gang, Sharif, Adara, trend to ticker, GME apes. Because he has that photo.
Hold on, aren't those the things that you're supposed to jump on to kill those turtles?
Saying. I'm gonna get this full image. Look at this, she's right. You've got your GME apes. You have Sharif, you have me, and you have Trend.
Neil, do you remember the name of Donkey Kong?
Donkey Kong,
Donkey Kong, because they ended up making his own game too, but he's called Donkey Kong in the game as well, right? Yeah. I remember you always had to beat him to get to Princess, right? He was such a punk. He always tried to kill you in the castle and stuff like that. The dude just doesn't care. Anyway, printing here on, just took a nice beak wetter there on the 20 period hold on goggles. We'll see if we get any more. It's having trouble holding above the 20 period, and there was a reason for that because we had not a big move, but we dropped a little bit more on the NQ, and that's definitely not going to help. The Mag 7 continue to hold up, but Tesla doesn't know anything about a futures drop because it's putting in higher lows here incrementally. With the 10 period definitely sloping upwards. It does have a whole lot of resistance here for whatever reason at resistance level 2 on pivots. Yes, these dotted lines for the newer viewers, these are pivot points, and they're all based off this green dotted line here. So this green dotted line is based on yesterday's price action. It's charted based upon the high, the low, and the close of yesterday. You average out the 3, you get a number, and then that's where the green line is charted. And then off that green line, you chart 2 support levels and 2 resistance levels. Sometimes they feature in the price action, sometimes they don't. It's incumbent upon you, if we're going to use them, to figure out if they're featuring today, and if they are, how to use them. Today, I can tell you there's really no reason for Tesla to have resistance at 178.25, save and except for that navy blue dotted line right there. That's pivot point resistance 2. It's having trouble breaking above that level. The argument could also be made that it's having trouble closing above 178 because it's wicking above 178, but the close, alas, comes below that whole dollar level, save and except for this one candle over here. So good look right now on TSLA. I'll have to weasel my way into this trade with a 10-period moving average, but I really want to see if it can take that 178 level on a closing basis here on the 5 up over 1 3/4 on the day. I still don't have an explanation. Here's what this article coming in saying, shares are trading higher Fridays. The stock is up more than 5% in the past. According to Reuters, Tesla has switched gears to plan to develop self-driving systems. Okay, so it's what you were saying. It's a China headline. They want to build out data centers there. China won't let them export the data because they're going to play that game now, I guess, with the States. And so Tesla's going to have to build these data centers in China, keep them there so the data doesn't get exported so they can build the FSD for China based with that local China data. It's a whole thing. I mean, it must be tough for these companies to have to navigate multiple jurisdictions, especially when the jurisdictions are not jiving with one another, as we're seeing right now between East and West. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that one. But as an intraday trade, it's presenting you with opportunities. Keep an eye out, though, for that 178 rejection. It's doing the wick shimmy from the south side of 178. Usually that's a bit of a warning there, but until it drops below the 10, I'm going to be looking long.
So I think I figured out what's happening with Microsoft.
Go.
And it's that every time we get to the bottom of this range, it's the same time that the TQs find support. However, the TQs also have lower highs. So Microsoft, if you want to learn from that and not the bouncing off support part, I love that. Because look at these lower highs in the TQs, right? Every time we get to the bottom of this, look what Microsoft does.
What?
It bounces a little bit. We get to the 419.20s and we bounce. I've been watching, again, I feel like watching the book has really helped me refine my trades a little bit. Not that you could tell today, no, I'm joking. I'm just being a little hard on myself. Because these markets are certainly, gonna put you in your place. You just gotta put them in your place right back. But no, I have noticed that every time we get to where it looks like we might flat bottom break in the Qs and we don't, that's when Microsoft bounces. But we have had lower highs. We're getting consolidative. I usually don't stay in trades so long, but I have no reason to leave this yet. So why would I? I'm going to stay in there.
Bang.
But you showed it to Sharif for no need for searching there on that goggles trade. Nice look.
I like that. No need for searching.
Yeah, very happy
search.
that you are tearing that stock asunder, Pichai.
Oh.
So nice look there. To make another pun, because that's what I do. I have IWM up on my side chart as well. I don't have a ton of levels on this, but I like generally this something around VWAP I think could be a skosh spicy right now. We have these curls. Oh, okay. I really like, let me zoom in. Look at this very bearish candle we get here, right below VWAP. I want to short this. I think I want to short IWM. I don't love though right now. We're coming into that pre-market resistance, so that could flip to support, perhaps, may chance, je ne sais pas. But if we, I like the 208.90s. I've been playing that level the last couple of days. If we have 207.90s, that would be kind of an odd reason to take it just because it happens to be the same numeral. But if we have another 208 VWAP projection, I want the short. I want, not just some, I want all the smoke. We just turned red on the day. IWM, let's have this IW massacre on this chart.
I like
Looks like I'm going to get my 208 test.
Dara wants blood, baby. No, I'm in ASTIS now. ASTS, 20-period retracement after strength. I waited for the 20, insisted on the 20 rather than the 10 because we were just too close to 5. So I felt, a retracement into the 10 when the 10 was so close to the whole dollar level would not be a good idea. Hence, I waited for the 20. It's holding up right now. Whether or not it continues to hold up, an entirely different story. I've got my beak wetter hanging out around 90s. My stop is going to be the break of 70. So we'll see what this one brings. This is an earnings winner. Don't forget that. This is not a typical small cap gapper. It started moving on the 14th in anticipation of earnings, reported earnings, the aftermarket of the 15th. It did well yesterday, and it's doing well today. So we'll continue to watch ASTIS, ASTS, 19.61% on the day. up right now at the 20-period dip. That was the move, and we'll see what comes from that. I'm still in goggles at these levels here. Goggles has not triggered me out. I'm about to get triggered out on goggles for the remaining amount right now. I only have a tiny piece left, so if it continues to break here and prints 38s on the ask, that's going to be the end of the trade, and there's the end of the trade. So we'll give back a little bit there on goggles. I'm still profitable on it, though, on that trade. So now my focus is going to be on Astis, baby, because we want Astis to print 88s, because that's where we're looking to wet our beak on said profit. So trading small cap gappers, trading these large caps, whatever's in play, baby, we're going to trade it, looking for this Astis to hold up at this level. What else is going on here? What are you guys looking at? FFIE, everybody's yelling out. I never heard about it. I'm kidding. Faraday futures. Shout out to the Katina Man. What's going on there, Katina Man? Can you tell us quick? So the Katina Man is still long 280 on Faraday futures, and as you can see there, what it did is it made its way up to 3 3/3, pardon me. And I love this 20-period dip. How I was not alive to that? Oh, because I had it flipped to the 1 minute accidentally. That's why I didn't see the 20-period dip on the 5. You know, I would have been all over that 20-period dip on the 5 had I seen it. So we'll continue to watch that one. Oh, and we're printing here on Astis as that one, you guessed it, held the 20-period on the 5. So yeah, that seems to be a thing right now. So we'll continue to watch, see if we can make it back up into $5 for Astis.
Yeah, I did a thing, and I want to talk about that thing because you might, I already fat fingered out half of it, so that's fun. But it's me, of course I did. So Tesla, I really like that we kind of keep holding this 90 MA. Initially I was shorting that, but we're still having these wicks are getting higher and higher in terms of these higher lows, right? So, okay, now we fall. So now we're gonna have to get out. I wish Tesla would hear you say pamp it, because it did not. I wanna see what we do at 60s. If we bounce off 60s, I'll stay in. If we don't, I'll say buy. I already have half the position out.
Stay up 60s.
I wanted to take it off the position here at 178.20, the top of that little wick range. And then Tesla was like, oh, so now you don't have half the position because you made a typo. I'm like, cool, that's my bad, Tesla. I understand. You gotta do what you gotta do, ma'am. But yeah, Tesla bouncing off these 60s, these 70s, or 60s, English, very nicely. This was a trade. It did look a little, maybe a bit wild, but okay, bye-bye. I liked it because we did have these higher lows on a wicking basis, and I was watching what we're doing at 80, and now Tesla's back. Okay, that's what these markets do to you. They chop you, they churn you, they spit you out, they chew you up, and you just have to learn and live with it. If this does become a short, I'll take the short 177.80s. That is my level for Tesla, long or short right now. I'm trying to be playing that range both ways. Microsoft, also probably about to get me out here. So this has been quite the day. This has not been my day, I'll tell you that for free. But you know what? Again, just really trying to take advantage of opportunities. And I want to say something as well. I have spoken ad nauseum this week about how rough my trading week has been. One positive day on Wednesday. Yesterday I got chopped and churned in that Mester pump, or Mester dump for some reason. And then the other dump we got, I was also just got into a Mag 7 name. But I want to say something as well, is like, my first week of trading, I was profitable 4 of the 5 days, but I took no risks, and I was basically flat in every day. Now I'm taking risks. Now I'm trying to figure out what I like. I'm trading these Mag 7s this week, so I don't want to fault myself for having red days when I think my trades that I've been making are stronger and I'm trying harder. You know what I mean? I don't think, you know, the P&L might not be rewarding me for my efforts, but I think someday down the line, something will. So that's just what I wanted to say. I think sometimes you have to be proud of yourself, even if the P&L is like, laughing in your face. You have to laugh back at that P&L. You have to say, hey, P&L, I'm trying my darndest. I'm making trades that I like, that I want to try, and I'm trying new things. And I wasn't doing that when I was having my winning days, so I just think that's a little bit of food for thought for me to munch on as we head into that 12 p.m. hour. Yes, Microsoft.
Nice.
Damp. I almost said pamp. Don't pamp, Microsoft.
Oh, no. Don't pamp.
Damp.
Don't pamp.
Damp. How are you doing?
We're printing. Well, we're done the trade now on Astis, baby. It was a 20-period retracement on the 5, took 82s, got out 97s. That was 96s, excuse me. That was really it. I didn't want to wait for 5 because I felt that we could get a rejection at 5. Now, the thing is, we break and hold about 5. I'll start using 5 as a level of support. So I'm happy with this trade. It was planned, it executed. I want to mention this again. I don't care how many annoying I sound. When a stock is trending, the shallow retracements, and by trending, I mean either like diagonally moving up or diagonally moving down. The shallower retracements, in my observation, when they do come in, they come into the 10 period. The more deeper retracements, the ones that maybe last 10 or 15 minutes, come into the 20. And so if it's trending, then you may be you could be looking on either one of those moving averages. Now you're going to say, well, how do I know whether or not it's going to hold up at the 10 or the 20? You don't, okay? And that's part of the risk that comes in with trading. You could try to help a little bit by looking at the book to see if there's any size to backstop the drop below the 10 period, which could possibly foreshadow a move into the 20. But, you know, that may work, it may not, because the size doesn't have to be reflected on the book. It could be an iceberg, right? So anyway, if this one breaks through 5, I definitely want to get back in. Faraday, same thing. Now that Faraday is done its 20 period dip for maybe for the hour, now if it starts trending again, I'm going to look to weasel my way in off the 10. Let's just let it get away a little bit from the 10 and the 20 after this retracement. I'm going to weasel my way back into Faraday. I like this name. And see if we can get anything on it. But don't forget, guys, if you're just joining us for the first time and you're watching these, you know, Faraday futures, Astis, Tupperware, these things don't last for that long. If you look at the daily charts, oftentimes you'll see the candles on the daily be super topping tail, but that means that the price action went all the way up and then the body is like this big when the wicks are like this big, and there was a reason for that. They move up and then they come all the way back down to close near the entry, right? So they're around for a good time, not a long time. So you got to make sure that you're taking profits on these monsters, and you can't really hold them in the way that you would a large cap like a Meta or a Google, or something that you know is going to trend all day off news. I don't think that they should be traded the same way. That's just my opinion. So keeping an eye on those, Ram, and we'll see what we get there. With respect to mix, okay, so now Softy's coming into the 20 period here. So very interesting. So now I got to send it to you because I probably want to weasel my way into Softy here.
Weasel that way into the Softy. Yeah, I've noticed though, for what it's worth, there's a really bizarre bounce. There's something distinctly different happening at Microsoft. I had to shout out Obi there. Every time we get to that 419.20, we get there and we bounce with a vengeance. I do not like this bullish engulfing candle, Sam I am. I do not like it. But we did reject off that 419.70, which was my level that I wanted to get out at if we broke above decisively. Microsoft's like, oh, you want me to break above decisively? No, Microsoft, that's not what I'm saying. Keep rejecting, keep rejecting. Honestly, at this point, I think my read on the trade was wrong for my purposes anyway. I think I might have to get out if we get back to 419.19s. So that would be only taking 15 pennies, but you've got to understand and react to what you're seeing. And in this case, you know, I use this quote from The Office. Michael Scott, it's adapt, react, readapt, act. And I think a lot of that is trading, as much as it is a joke from a sitcom. But yeah, I got short Boeing. I forgot I did. That was intentional. It was not a fat figure. I just was like, what else am I in? And I'm in Boeing. Moving. So look at this. Look at this VWAP, 90 MA rejection. And look at these like little topping tail candles towards that 182. So I see that and I go, boop. I want to be getting in for this plane trip to the downside. Yeah, bad Boeing joke. And if we break above 182, I'm going to be getting out. I want 180, 135s. That's what I want. I want 40 pennies, risking about 25, something I can live with. Tesla's like, you know what I can live with? Finally breaking 178. If you had done that while I was in the long Tesla, that'd be greatly appreciated, but nah, it's all good. That's what these markets do. They make you wait for it, and someone's getting slapped in the face. His name is Sean, and you can catch him and I on that market recap show.
Uh-oh. And if you guys thought that joke about Boeing was ominous, you should have heard the one she told me this morning. I love that. No, Ram. Ram wants to hear it. Well, we'll think about it.
It was like the type of joke you'd imagine that someone would tell about Boeing. I'll put it that way.
Oh, wow, Ram, she's threatening us now. She's like, I'm staying on the two-shot till I hear the joke. No charts.
Like, subscribe, share it.
Wow, Ram. She's coming hot with that.
She says she didn't do it.
I don't know. Should we count? I can count from now on. So took some profits there on Softy off the 20-period rejection, looking for more. I'm looking for a decided move down into 419. We get it. We don't. Come what may, baby. But already de-risked a little bit off that 20-period pop. Keep your eye out on the future. It did come off bottoms there, I guess. That's the look. We got it right into those IB lows. Yeah, those are the IB lows. 18,620 is the general area low. We're still negative on the day. 18,6 that 50-point level is break even. So watch out for rejections coming up about 5 points from here. So wetting my beak on what's been weak on the day, which is softy. But I am cognizant of that, if the winds of change come on the futures, they may come on softy as well. So very, very alert to that. All right, let's see what else. Reed Shipley. See, confirmed sizes. I'm not reading that. Mr. Long Shorts, Tesla pushing. All right, we're going to have, wow, there goes Tesla. Yes. Good call out, Mr. Long Shorts. 179.09. So the 179 break. The Katina man is still long Tesla at those levels. I believe he was long 77s, 76s, excuse me, at the volume weighted average price there. Shout out to the Katina man there. So $3 in the moolah, 179.09. Now, let's look at that 178.25 as a possible level of support. 178, 178.25, because we were doing the wick shimmy there since 10:35. So it's an hour and a half of consolidation. Do we now use the whole dollar, the quarter dollar level, because the wicks are going into the quarter dollar, the close is below the whole dollar, as a level of resistance? That's what I'll be looking for. I'll probably have a dip trade set up on said Tesla on said level.
Yeah, I wish you all the best luck on that level. Also, yeah, you have a great Microsoft price.
Thank you.
Shout out to you
we'll
there.
We'll see what happens.
Pardon?
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I was going to say, I want to switch my play up on Microsoft. If we come back, I'm going to get out 419.20. So like, Adara, you spent all this time in this trade to take 15 pennies? Yes, I did. I'm okay with that. If that happens, I'm okay with that. Because I think we're flipping. I think Microsoft is flipping a little bit. I would like Sharif and I to print very much. I hope we both print there. And Sharif has a way better price than me, so he definitely will if we get back into these 419s. But then I think if we keep having this range, it's like, Adara, you like trading ranges. Trade the range. Trade the range you wish to be in the world. I don't know. Also, Boeing broke up, so bye-bye Boeing.
Who did she break up with?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. No, yeah, we broke above 182s. This has been an abysmal day for me, but that doesn't mean it has to stay that way. I want to shout Desi in the chat as well, saying, like, the optimism is great. You just always have to make sure that you have plans for your trades. And yeah, I mean, like, on my way home always and on my way to work, I'm always thinking, what went wrong in the trades? I'm like, castigating myself a little bit, self-flagellation, being like, what did I do wrong and how could I do it differently?
I love that.
I think on the show, I'm a little bit, less cerebral about it because, we're here trying to be entertaining, but
yeah,
it is something I think about a lot. And so I really appreciate you saying that, Desi. I think it is a huge aspect of celebrating the W's, of course, but also being like, in these L's, what did I do? What happened? How could I have done it differently? It was a case, a lot of times for me, I find, especially today, it's just a case of I had a really poor stop loss area or my entry level was eh. And so it's like, how do you try to find a way to fix that? Why are you not trading the way you're most comfortable trading? So I just wanted to talk about that. And thank you, Desi. I appreciate the support. Trying to improve every day. This week was a setback, but the whole point of setbacks is they set you back so you could push forward.
Oh,
yeah.
I like that.
Hopefully Softy pushes down here.
Yeah, man.
For our sakes.
Let's go, Softy. Anyway, we've taken I've got my next beak wetter at 40s. Let's see what happens. If we can make a move down into said 40s, we'll have the profit, the resting order is already there. I also put in a dip trade on Tesla. Where is it? There it is. Sorry about that. That's Astus. I swear I just had Tesla up. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, that's right. I have to click that. There we go. So now I've put in my my dip trade to defend that 178 level. So I don't know. I don't think we make it down there, guys. If we do, I'll be surprised. I got to tell you the truth. So I put the order there. If it gets triggered, it gets triggered. Great. But it's hovering at 179. I think this one is destined to make a 180 touch today. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but it looks like it's on its way. So now we're above 179. We're fighting with that whole dollar level a little bit above, a little bit below. We're now 2.5% to the good on the day now on Tesla. Not surprising with this kind of name because this one can get parabolic. Sometimes, we forget that Tesla was the monster it was from like 2019 to 2023, 2022, whatever, because NVIDIA has been the king for the last little while. So sometimes it's easy to forget, but this name can absolutely go parabolic both ways. So keeping an eye on that. Softy right back into my entry again, so nothing doing there. The stop is already in place on the soft one, and we've already de-risked. So those are the trades that I've got at the moment. Oh, VWAP, not VWAP, sorry. Sorry, I was looking at Google and I was thinking about something else. Here, Google right back up again. However, there is this interesting area at around 175 3/4 that acted as a local level of resistance. So Google's kind of doing unusual consolidation right now, not really respecting any moving averages or any levels that I can really discern. So I want to see what it does with this 175 3/4. If it continues to make a move back up, we could get another test of high day on Google. So watching that, and yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, I am finally trying to join my pal here, NVIDIA. I did take a TQQ short. Did I get involved? No, I didn't get filled. But I want to talk about why I like this. Self-ability, shout out to you in the chat saying, do you think this is this pump could be like, you know, a bull trap? And you know why? I do. And it's because on the TQs, the Qs, no matter how you slice it, look at this level that we're approaching and that we're kind of failing. That was a chop and turn we had earlier. So to me, I think it could be. You can't say anything for sure. It's a little sad, TQs. You know, I was only 1 penny away. I wanted 63.14.
Been there, girl.
I wanted 63.14s. TQQ hits the 63.14s only though on one side, so I didn't get it on my buy side and it rejected. So that's okay. I have my eyes on a bigger fish, and by that I mean the whale of the NQ. Sharif just referred to her. Her name is NVIDIA. Look at this. I watched us get to 935, we reject. You might be like, but Adara, we had a double bottom. Yeah, we did, but we've had lower highs. We've had lower lows. We can't get that 935 decisively. I might want one more 935 touch and reject. I'm okay with that. But, you know, I kind of want all the smoke. I don't kind of. I do want all the smoke. Yeah, we're going to get this NVIDIA. I'm trying to get this bread. Knowing NVIDIA, it's probably not going to be like, you know, full fat bread. It'll be like you know, gluten-free bread or something, because you know sometimes with NVIDIA you got to scalp. If we break above that 935.60s, I'll be out. And again, I don't know if I was aggressive enough on this. I don't want to chase on this too much. I'll put it this way: the lowest I'm willing to get short on this, 934.50. I want 934.50 to 935. I don't want anything more expensive. I don't want anything less expensive. I think this will be a nice rejection. I like it, but I don't want to have to chase it either, because we don't go chasing waterfalls, especially in NVIDIA. Also, I got out of Microsoft. We had that 70 print. I didn't like us writing the 90 MA, and also because Sharif, like, you had a great entry point in that. I didn't. I got involved for 1935, so I was just losing more. You know what I mean? But shout out to Sharif for crushing that Microsoft. Hopefully, Mr. Softy is your good pal there.
It's a decent pal, Adara, but it keeps coming into the mid 40s and not printing me. I'm sitting in the low 40s for the final out on this one. You know, it hasn't printed above the 20, but it's really taken its sweet time to make its way down, if it makes its way down. Again, caveat if. It comes down into about 45s and then seems to find a buyer around there. That's not reflected on the book. You don't see any size on the book at the mid 40s, low 40s. So whoever is there is hidden, is an iceberg. So we'll continue to watch that. And if I get printed, fantastic. Right now we're back at 51s. There's 48s coming in right now. Let's see. Here comes 47s. Again, you're going to watch it hold up mid 40s here, as I've been watching it do for the last 10 minutes or so. Right back above into 50. So you kind of get the flow of that, and you know, come what may. I'm not gonna really concern myself too much over something I can't control. The stop's in, the beak wetter is in, and that's the end of that. All right, FLJ halted upside, $1.65, up 243%. Not on my chart. Gonna go on now. FLJ, what are the deets on this monster? I'll give it to you in a second. Can you believe it? $78,000 market cap. I don't think I've ever seen that before. It says 78,048. Well, let's figure out why it says that. The float on this is, no, this is completely inaccurate. I think it's, yeah, it says the float is like 2.5 trillion.
That seems excessive.
Yeah, so I think the data that I may have on this one is a bit skewed. Let's see what Trade Ideas has, if anything, on that. FLJ. FLJ, let's see here. So this one, float is, where is the market cap on this one? There it is. No? Yeah, 7.11 million. Float 4.3, short float 5.38. So not negligible. 5 1/3% of the float is short. So I put this one up there. It halted to the downside now. Halted at $1.65. The tap on this monster, I'll give it to you in a second, currently is $1.40, so about 15 pennies below where we halted at. So not a good look. We'll see if this one retraces. This one started off the day at about 50 pennies, came in almost at $2, 195 HOD. We'll keep eyes on this one. Keep your eye at this level that it's halted at. That is the top there, right at 715. So this one did break the pre-market high, right? That buck and 2/3. We'll talk all about that and some more when we get back from Neil's lesson of the day.
Welcome, your lesson of the day today. Stop orders or not? And I think like every single time, I'm going to come on here and hopefully talk about something the market helped us with or pointed out or made incredibly obvious. And I think the value of having a stop order was, I think, pretty important today, at least for my trading. And I think a lot of the setups that I looked at, if you didn't have a stop with all these wild moves happening, I think you get yourself into a lot of trouble. So what is a stop order? Essentially just amounts to any kind of automatic order or level, let's just say, where if a stock reaches that price, you are going to get triggered out of your position. Now, obviously, people have probably heard of something called a mental stop. That would be a situation where, let's just say I'm long a stock at $100, and I say to myself, if it gets to 99, I want to get out. But I don't actually place an order to force myself to do that. So you have a stop order in your mind, but you're not actually putting it out to the market. And when you put it out to the market, there's a few things that are going to happen. Once you have that stop order out there, you have to make a conscious decision to go away from your trading plan to not get out of the position when you deemed yourself to be wrong. That type of discipline level allows you not to get the old FOMO or, well, it gets down to your price, it's working against you. No, I still like it, I love it, I'm right. And you just start taking more, like, oh, it'll bounce. Next thing you know, it's at 99, it's at 98, and you're like, oh, I'll just move my mental stop even further. You're forced to get out. The cost of that sometimes is if it's at an obvious level, maybe you get stop hunted. The stock breaks 100 by 10 cents, you get out, and next thing you know, the stock rallies to like $105. But here's the thing. If you don't get out automatically, I'm going to show you an example of a stop order. If you don't get out automatically, you've got to consider what the downside is. For every time you set a mental stop and you're like, okay, well, I'm going to move it, I still like this position. I'm going to move it, I still like this position. And it might come back for you. You have to ask yourself, well, for that time or two that it does come back for you, what does it look like if it doesn't come back and you don't adhere to your stop? Like, what if I'm taking I said since yesterday, I'm taking a 200 short on Coinbase. So I'm going to get short when it breaks 200. And I went short when it broke 200. And immediately, I said out loud, I'm like, yeah, my stop is going to be at the half. I'm taking a bottom break, and it didn't go right away. So instead of giving it $1, I'm going to give it half of what I would usually give. There's my stop order. I get out. Now, if I had not had a stop there and just said, okay, I'll go mental stop at that original 201, it goes to 201 and pulls back. I could have convinced myself, yeah, look at that. You're going to have a mental stop at 01. Let's get more short. Now I'm short double the position. And if it breaks this and I have no stop, where am I getting out? I could lose 3, 4, 5x what I was expected to. And the problem with that is, if you lose 3, 4, 5x what your expectation is, then it doesn't matter how much you win. It's like going shopping. Like, nobody cares. Like, it's not just about what you get. It's about how much you pay for it. So all of your wins, you're paying for those by the amount that you risk. So if you end up losing too much when it's wrong, then it doesn't really matter how much you make. In this case, it's just a perfect example because that ends up being bottom wick. But the value of a stop order, I think, is huge. And the other thing you can use stop orders for, and we talk about this all the time, a stop order is a conditional order. Price goes to X, and then prints X, or if the time in sales has a certain print of a certain size, or it could be the level 2 or the level 1 bid gets to a certain price. You can look at the tape, you can look at the level 1, level 2, whatever triggers that order, it's just an order to go out. You can use it to get into position as well. I think when it comes to a breakout trade, oftentimes we'll use stop orders to get in. Why? Because they're faster. Like, if I'm trying to get the stock breaking $3 and punch in myself when I visually see FFIE break 3, am I going to get a good fill? Probably not. I'm going to be too slow. The other thing is, if you use a stop order to get in, it frees you up to then have another way to get out of the position. In the case of that initial break of FFIE on 3, Because I was using an automated order to get in, I was freed to have a stop order instantly put in when I got into position. That way I'm not doing two things when it breaks, I'm just doing one thing. And then it comes right back down. And we're in and we're out, no problem. And the idea with that is you're using it as a tool to make you faster, to keep yourself disciplined, and to avoid too much slippage. Because if you're a human trader, you're not going to beat an automatic order on the way out. And that works on the way in, that works on the way out. You're going to save yourself, if every single time you save yourself a couple of cents on the execution because you let the computer fire it for you, as opposed to trying to hit that key, it's going to add up over time. So remember what these stop orders do for you. First of all, a mental stop is something that you can break, and then you just start moving the goalposts on yourself and get into trouble. A hard stop keeps you disciplined, but it also forces you to make a decision to get rid of it, and it gives you better executions at the cost sometimes of getting wicked out and making top and bottom wick, but it gives you better executions tighter to the entry price that you want. If you do that, over time it's going to save you money, and it's a very valuable tool whether getting into position or out of position. I think they're a must for trading, especially when it's a ridiculously active name and you're going to be trading it multiple times in lots of scalp trading. So that's your lesson of the day. Use them wisely, and if you use mental stops, you have to be extra disciplined and make sure you adhere to them. I think it's a dangerous game, but to each their own. Use those stops. They're going to save you.
All right, guys. Thank you again, obviously. Thank you very much, Neil, for that lesson of the day. Informative, eloquent, and awesome as always. Neil Roberts, baby. Every day around noon, he's going to be doing his lesson of the day, so make sure to catch that. Thank you very much. All right, Ram, as Neil was dropping hot lines, we got we wet our beak on some profits on the soft one, as it did. Yes, it did reject the 20-period moving average on the 5 for the second time today. Finally, the first one was obviously the better one. The better rejection. This was a 20-period initial touch here at 10:35, danced with it at 10:40. The final touch came at 10:45. Then the Khwadunk came in bigly there. So that 420, 40-ish, you could say you got in if you touched it at the 20, and then it moved all the way down to 418 and a third. It is still headed down now. This was the second touch over here. As you can see, not as aggressive as the first one. So I'm going to continue to watch Softy for any other weakness on the day. It has been a bit weaker, down 0.40 relative to the market, which is the NQ. The ES is flat, 0.00. The NQ down 0.03%. So essentially flat on both of them on the market. The other one that I want to follow is this one over here. Excuse me, I moved the charts for no reason. FLJ. This one opened up since we were gone, $1.95. It was down halted, you'll recall, and it was a 10-minute halt last time around. So it was 3 up halts today, 1 down halt. The down halt did last 10 minutes. They come in increments of 5 if you're typically a newer trader. Here we go, now touching the 10 period on the 5, which is at $1.45. It's doing the dance right now with that $1.50. I ideally wanted to hold around here. This is the pre-market high, between 155 to 165. So it's breaking down below it now, but I guess if it holds up here and curls back up, no one will even be able to tell that it dipped a few pennies below this. So we'll see what we get. FLJ, a monster, up 200% on the day, trying to stay above the 10 period right now, Adara.
Yeah, you know what else is trying to stay above? AMD. You might be like, Adara, you had 2 noted L's on AMD earlier. Why are you trying this again? Well, I think one thing I want to say as well is I think...
She's so nosy.
I was going to say, is Siri talking?
Is it? Not mine, that's yours.
No, it's not mine. I think I heard something that wasn't
I thought I heard it too, yeah.
But AMD here bouncing quite nicely off this previous resistance, coming in at 10 a.m. This one, 65.80. We get a little bounce in the Qs at the time. I say, Adara, risk 20 pennies. I don't want to, you don't want to revenge trade either, but you also don't want to avoid a trade just because your earlier trade in the stock went badly. Do you know what I mean? I think that's also a mental bias I'm trying to avoid. You know what I'm not trying to avoid though? Talking about this NVIDIA short. I'm really proud of what I did here. I watched that 935 rejection. I was gonna risk into 935.50s, give you 35, 30s, then drops to the downside. My big white whale for this trade, my big end goal was going to be 932s. We didn't get 932s. I was watching the tape. This is like, I think, a dark bull wick, but I was watching. We got to like 933s. I wanted to wait. We get back to 934s and say, Dara, get out. I took $1 on this, so I'm pleased as punch with my NVDA. And yeah, I just wanted to wax poetic about her for a moment there. AMD, if you want to, like, you know, join your pal NVIDIA in Adara's good book, Semiconductors, then you just gotta get up going a little bit. But I'm not gonna pressure it. It needs to do what it needs to do. I'm not gonna force it. Also, Microsoft bounces here again. I want to shout out Sharif on his Microsoft trade. It was literally he goes comes back with his water and he's like, oh yay! He's excited with Microsoft. So shout out to you. We keep bouncing off this 419.20, and if we keep bouncing, I'm gonna have to bounce into this trade. Yeah, that's what I want. I want small position. There we go. I want really small position. I'm gonna be risking. I've been watching this tape like wild, right? So I know, or the books, right? So I know what levels I want. If we break below 1920s. And I want to see that nice pop into 1496s. AMD, keep AM defending 165.60s, please, thank you. Also want to look at Starbucks for day trader cut. I accidentally closed all my charts. I keep doing that. I don't know why I keep doing that. But let's take a look here at Starbucks quickly for day trader cut. And see, I'm just gonna keep my AMD side chart up as well. But so day trader cut, wanted to look at Starbucks. Yeah, this is a great bounce. Thank you so much for your super chat there. We had this little chop and churn around that 76 area, then push. This VWAP bounce might be the play. I don't know why I keep going for like questionable longs. This actually might be the long. Thank you so much, Day Trader Cut, for pointing this one out. Thank you for your support for the show. We love being here. Sorry we weren't able to look at this earlier. I think the super chat came in right as we threw to Neil's lesson of the day. Thank you to Neil. Thank you to Day Trader Cut. And thank you to AMD for keeping defending that level. But this Starbucks, this might be an area I want as well. So thanks for pointing that one out to us.
Absolutely. I missed this one too. Another good one here. Tupperware, guys. Beautiful VWAP retracement. You could even make the argument it wasn't VWAP, it was more like the 2 defend. Came in at 202 and right back up it goes. That's a nice 35-penny winner on a $2 name. Let's really call a spade here. This is a safe trade because if you get in at 205 and you put your break on the break of 2, your stop on the break of 2, you give it even a couple of shekels. I put it at 198, 197 to give it that buffer. And then look what you do. You move up a nice 35 pennies off that dip trade. So Tupperware, beautiful trade today. I didn't have it, but whoever had that VWAP dip absolutely printed. Up 38% here, 233 HOD on Tup. Let me just tell you the volume that it's done on the day. Decent amount, 11.5 million. Last time I reported to you guys on this one, it was about 6 some odd million. So great look today on Tup. FLJ looks good. FFIE looks good. ASTS looks really good coming into VWAP now. Let's see what ASTIS does at this level. There's a reason I'm super excited about this one. This is a top here. This 460, general area 4 2/3, and then it's conflating with the VWAP, with 462 where VWAP is. Now, I'm not saying this is a definite hold. I'd never say that. But what I would say is it puts your odds a little bit better, the odds a little bit better in your favor that it holds up at these levels. So let's watch. Let's watch, see what it does. The bottom can drop off at any time. We know that these ones are around for a good time, not a long time. So let's get it to prove to us that VWAP, that level is in fact a support level. And then I'll bamboozle my way in. I have no problems. 460 something it's trading at. I'd probably get in maybe low 470s, high 460s. There's an HOD of 512. Assuming it makes some sort of perfunctory retracement to 5, you can print on this name. So I'm going to be watching Astis here, traded it profitably earlier on that dip on the 20, and I do want another trade on this if one is to be had based on my setup. So ASTS, good look coming in to the volume weighted average price. So yeah. You can say there is something definite with the stash, says Jared Tweedle. Shout out to you, man. I'll take all the stash jokes today. I know. I brought it on myself, right? No one told me to grow this thing, but yeah, we'll see how. It's going to be like a summertime thing.
I'm happy to hear that no one told you to grow it. That was of your own volition.
I told my mom that I was going to grow it, and she's just going to give me that look on. She's like, okay. She looked away from the phone.
Or did she like?
She didn't really like the beard in
okay.
the beginning either, I gotta tell you the truth. I think she got used to it, but she was never a fan of any facial hair. So that's kind of her look there. But anyway, keeping an eye on ASTS. Wow, tough, just touched 235 again. So strength coming in those names. I don't want to jump into ASTS here super quick. I'm gonna put it on I'm gonna put a resting order. I'm just gonna put it at 63s, cause whatever. We'll just put it there, and if it triggers, it triggers. Or we'll get out on the break of the $0.50. So it'll have to hold 450 if I get filled here on ASTS. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to ASTS. It's an interesting look. I love those trades you had on that earlier. Meta looks kind of flat top breakish to me, which is weird because we're down on the day. But look at these higher lows and this flat top. Apple?
Yeah, something happened on Apple. Sorry to interrupt you, dear, because I know that you were dropping hot lines. Apple plans a thinner iPhone in 2025, reports the information. So that's just coming in. 12:17, so that's 3 minutes old. It did wick up into 190 and then dropped right back down. So there was price action response to this. The information reporting that the dead one is gonna drop a thinner iPhone in 2025. This is a paywall, so we won't be able to read this. But significantly thinner version of the iPhone could be released as early as 2025. Are they running out of ideas here? So just making everything thinner like the iPad?
That's all they're doing.
The slimmer phone could be released concurrently with iPhone 17 expected in September 2025. I gotta send it to you because I'm now long asked this.
Yeah, I'm short Apple. So
All right.
I'm trying to do a sell the news. That pop to me is like the market was interested because it was news and then was like, I actually don't care, Apple. So they're not buying what Tim's cooking over here. So if they're selling what Tim's cooking, I want all the smoke. This is a really small position. I really want to get out here. If we break it to 189.50s, I'd be pleased as punch. This is more of a scalp. AMD is listening to me. And I'm happy I didn't not trade this just because the earlier trades didn't work out. I'm aware we have lower highs. I want to get out half la position around that 166.19. I know I said I'm trying to do this less where I scalp up part of the position and keep part of the position. But with AMD, I think there's a little bit of an opportunity to get a little bit more wiggle room. So that's why I want to only get out part of the position and see what's shaking there. AAPL, AAP fell. So I'm pleased as punch with that because I am in that short. Okay, really small position, like I said, just trying to get involved. Waldorf and Statler, aka Ramin and Fabian, are having a good time over there as well. I love that animation. I think it's very apropos, very apt, very fitting. But yeah, this Apple trade, sometimes you just have to take stuff off levels you like, and I do like as well that was that pre-market rejection as well. I know Sean will do this a lot, where he'll just trade things like right off a news story. Not something I do very much, but you can't do the same thing every day. You got to switch it up sometimes.
Absolutely.
And so if you see a look you like, take that look. And Apple, if you want to break below 60s, I'd probably like you even better. But right now, I like you just fine. NNTB, get that break below 60s.
Hey.
AMD, though, decided to break down as well. So I'm going to be getting out of that one, unfortunately. But it's all good in the hood. Actually, that reminds me, I know Sean's short Robinhood, so let's take a look at Robinhood here. AMD, I am done with today. This has just not been the vibe, and it won't even let me get out now, question mark, so that's fun. We're just going to have to extricate ourselves from the AMD. Finally out. Apple, still in. We bounced off 60s. I'm going to get out here on Apple, so happy with that. Or happy with that, I guess. Yeah, AMD, my worst name of the day by a pretty significant margin. I think I just need to stick with the scalps. This Apple scalp, the NVIDIA scalp worked out. Tesla, if you want to keep... Tesla could get spicy here. If we do another chop and turn like we did around that one, we fell. Okay. I like this look. I really like this look. I want to see. I think there's something here in Tesla. I just need to keep scalping because I don't know why I keep acting like if I don't scalp, I will see somehow better results. No, Dara, just keep scalping.
I like
how's
it.
the
ASTS, yeah, printed on this one up into 69s. Now I'm gonna leave a piece here. Let's see if we can move into 5, something like that. So we'll watch ASTS. Doing well on it so far. Holding up at VWAP, but there's no guarantee it holds up here. These are around for a good time, not a long time, so just don't forget that. I'm gonna start the lesson in a second. I just want to see how ASTS resolves, if it does get some parabolic movements. I already put my stop through the break of the $0.50 for the remaining amount, so if it continues to move down, we'll get stopped out. What is everybody else talking about there in the chat? People are saying HKD's moving. Are you serious? Let's have a look at, what is this company called again? I forgot. HKD.
I don't remember.
AMT Digital. Yeah, AMTD Digital. AMTD Digital. Yes, there it's.
Weird.
Okay, it's actually moving. I don't think there's a whole lot of volume being done on it right now, though. Let's find out the volume. So the volume on HKD today, 1.65 million, not bad. And it looks like the majority of it has been done in the last 5 minutes because this candle has done over 350,000 shares, whereas you can see here, the previous candles don't come close to that. Just reclaim VWAP at the moment. Like, I'm not going to trade this because I don't think this has a setup, and I know it just moves willy-nilly at times. But I just wanted to tell you guys, 485 HOD. Be careful with this one, though, right? I mean, this is bamboozlement central on this monster, okay? HKD is that kind of trade. Go ask this. So let's see if we can get printed here at 80s or something like that. I'm going to put 80. I'm going to put 78s. We'll see if we can get 78s because that's where there is a resistance level right there. So we'll wet our beak on 78 if we get that print. Good move up today on Astis. Here comes 75s, and we're long 63s. So if we can get something on it, it would be great. Costs, says Ike Anderson. Costs. LSPD, TUP, and FFIE, says Ike Anderson. Good call out there, my friend. All small cap gappers, I can get behind all those trades. I do like my small cap gappers. So here comes 74s. Here is 74s. What? GameStonk is moving apparently. So let's have a look at GameStop. Big move up here. I see that from that $20 hold. Here comes 21 and a quarter on GameStop. The volume weighted average price is $21.50. Every single time it looks like we've come into VWAP today has been a sell the VWAP, but winds of change can come, and sometimes they don't tell you they're on the way. So $21.50, volume weighted average price overlapping with the 50 period on the 5. GameStop trying to get its feet under it, but we never know how these ones are gonna act on any given moment here or there.
Yeah, long NVIDIA, please just punch. I saw these higher highs and higher lows. We were kind of getting a little bit consolidated. So, and again, you know me and how I trade NVIDIA. We're here for a good time, and we're certainly not here for a long time. I'm getting out before the 935. 935, a massive resistance level. Initially, I wanted 934.80s. I don't know if we'll get those. So I think we're probably maybe a little bit too, I don't want to say risky, but I think maybe a bit too ambitious per se. I'll get out 44s. I like that. 11's my lucky number, so I'll take a multiple of 11. I have no problem with that. If we break below that 933, which is, again, this is a lot of these levels just come from me watching the book and less from the chart. If we break below 933, but the lowest we got since I've gotten in was bouncing off that 933.30, and we didn't ever got below my entry price on the sell side. So I'm like, no, I'm okay with that. I can live with that. I think using the book in tandem with the chart is really the only way I feel comfortable trading NVIDIA. So using it that way, I've been pretty pleased as punch. Maybe I was a bit too ambitious there. At this point, you know what? We'll take 34s because I think we are seeing a little bit of this petering out. And it's like, you know, if I want to scalp, you really have to put the scalp at scalp. You've got to be really intense about it with the viciousness, with the swiftness. And you know what also, with the people in the chats, thank you so much to Julia C, PEN10. I do not know what currency that is. This week has been very good for someone like me who is just starting. Thank you for all the advice. 100 emoji. Oh, it's Peru. Greetings from Peru. Peace sign, heart emoji. Well, you know, greetings from Canada. Julia C, thank you very, very much for your super chat. And happy to hear, I'm a very new trader as well. I've been, you know, about a month here trading live, and you learn a lot every day, and the market will certainly, you know, sometimes send you to bed without any supper. Definitely a cruel mistress at times, but we're always just happy to have new people here trying to learn every day, and thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the support. And yeah, let's take a look at Robinhood as well, because Sean shortened the hood. Okay, this is interesting. This is very interesting. I know Sean got in 2015 there, so throw back to that year, what a year. But also, like, I actually like too, for like, if I were to enter this, I like that we have this rejection off the 2010, but it's like, Adara, stop looking at things you like the look of and start thinking about how you can trade it. I like my scalps, so we need to focus on the scalps. NVIDIA, if you want to keep holding this 933.30 like a glove, I will stay involved. I think this is fun, this is funky, and now NVIDIA is like, oh, but Adara, I guess you should have scalped out earlier. I'm like, okay, I understand, girl. But yeah, keep having that 933 bounce. Pleased as dang punch. How is this?
It's good. I've put my my out for the stop and for the profit taker, so come what may. All right, let's get to the lesson du jour, baby. We are talking about, well, we were talking about moving average crossovers all week. Today is the last day of the week. Obviously, today we're going to talk about the limitations of using this technique. I think it's appropriate. So traders, welcome. Moving average crossovers are a popular technical analysis tool, but like any strategy, guys, they do have their limitations. Today, we'll explore these limitations and how to approach them to become a more well-rounded trader. So the allure and the Achilles heel of these crossovers. Let's talk about their Achilles heel first. So crossovers are absolutely fantastic for identifying trends, but they are not perfect. Here are some key limitations to consider. They are lagging by nature. They're a lagging indicator. Moving averages react to past price movements. This means they might miss the very beginning or end of a trend, potentially leading to lagging entries and exits. That is an Achilles heel, what they're well known for. They're also well known for triggering false signals. As discussed previously, crossovers can be misleading at times, especially during very volatile markets or consolidative markets. They have two types of markets that they're bupkis at, right? Very sideways, going to trigger lots of crossovers and volatility, especially at the open and the close of the day. Very, very inaccurate during those times. And they also provide you with limited information. Crossovers only tell you part of the story. Whoa, okay, I got to stop there. Do you want to take that one?
Oh, yes. Oh, thank you. I didn't even see that. Thank you so
50.
much. Justin Swearingen, $49.99 or $50 super chat. Thank you so much. Adara, I'm playing Meta and QQQ. Look at the Meta chart. Let's go. I was saying this earlier. I'm gonna guess what your look might be on Meta, and I think it might be that flat top break. It's also been kind of rangy though too. Thank you so much, Justin, for that. Yeah, I like this 471.60 area, but I think what I've kind of learned is even if I like this look, you can't really trade stuff that's not your bag. Hope you're printing on this though, and if you got involved at any of these higher lows, I think that was a great look, so shout out to you. The QQs have been rangy indeed. But not really, in a kind of harder to play level. I will say this 452.20 rejection was gorgeous. Tried to get involved on the TQs. It's a great look. These lower highs, interesting. TQQs and Meta kind of moving in opposite ways. Because you've got these lower highs, right, on the TQs, or sorry, the Qs. And if you go back to Meta, the Zuck seems to kind of be, we're getting kind of Zucky, we're getting lucky as we push above that 471.60 area, right? So to me, I think they're kind of moving in different ways, but Meta's still down in the day. Regardless, no matter what way you play it, because I think both of these you could probably play in either directions if you're scalping. Thank you very much, Justin Swearingen, for your super chat. And yeah, happy to have you here. So happy to have everyone here. Okay. And sounds like you're printing, so shout out to you.
Shout out to you. Thank you very much for the super chat. So moving on with the lesson. So it does provide crossing averages, crossovers on moving averages do only tell you part of the story. They don't consider fundamental factors. They don't consider other technical indicators. So they're quite limited in what they're telling you. That's another Achilles heel. So how do we get around some of their Achilles heel? Well, we can embrace a multidisciplinary approach. And we did talk about that earlier this week when we talked about how to use momentum indicators in conjunction with the moving average crossover strategy. So that's what I'm going to talk about here. So combining with other technical indicators. Don't rely too much or solely on crossovers. Integrate them with momentum indicators, volume analysis, and or support and resistance. Go back to the lesson on Wednesday. We talk about how to use these confirmatory techniques. This gives you a more comprehensive picture of the overall market or the instrument that you're trading. You can also incorporate some fundamental analysis here, but I'm going to go ahead and suggest to you that this is not appropriate for day trading. This is more appropriate for swing trades or longer term holds. And also practice your patience, right? Don't force trades based on weaker crossover signals. Wait for confirmation and market conditions that align with your strategy to improve the chances of success. And here's an example of a moving average crossover and then the retest on confirmation. So there you go. You have the crossover here, so you're supposed to go short at that point. You get short, and then look what happens. It goes against you, but it comes in to test that moving average again. Then look what happens. It absolutely tanks once it touches the 20 moving average. This kind of reminds me of a breakout area. Like say Apple was to break out 200 bucks, and then, I'm going to have to get out of Astis here because it did break down below my level, and I did get out. Good. All right, awesome. So that took care of itself. So like say for example, you get to 200 on Apple, like you got to 300 on Caterpillar, you clear 200. Now, a lot of traders will not actually get in on the breakout of 200. What they'll wait for is a retest of 200 to prove that it's going to be a level of support, to see that the buyers are going to step in and buy at 200. And that's kind of the same thing here. Get short on the crossover, and then it pulls back into the moving average, and then you see the buyers piling in to take it short. So it's a bit of a confirmatory indicator there. And here's an example of a moving average crossover with confirmation from stochastic oscillator. So I'm not going to go and explain how to use stochastics here, but essentially they have two lines, and you're waiting for one line to cross the other, and you're trying to align that with the moving average crossover. So very similar principles into what you're looking at on the stochastics versus what you're on moving averages, but they're derived completely separately. They don't have the same mathematical formula, so they don't have anything to do with one another. Just the only reason that I'm comparing them is because you have two lines on the stochastic, two lines on the moving average crossovers, and you're waiting for a cross on both ones. So your key takeaway here is no single indicator guarantees any success or anything really in this ever-changing market, but by understanding the limitations of the crossover strategy and embracing a more multidisciplinary approach using momentum indicators, volume, and price action, you'll be better equipped to be informed, or to make informed decisions, I should say, and navigate the market with greater confidence. So let's have a look here at Astis as this thing continues to break down. So good look here for whoever wants to get short on this name as it's giving out way at the volume weighted average price. This one, in my estimation, is no longer tradable as a long. That is until it reclaims and holds the volume weighted average price. Doesn't mean it's not tradable and it's short. I had a trade in early 2023 early 2023, yeah, because we were coming off the weakness of 2022, where I'd wait for these, basically for these shorts or these small cap gappers to break down below VWAP. I'd wait for them to retest VWAP, reject, and then I'd take them short. Obviously, it's a little bit more complicated because you're going to have to secure shorts for small cap gappers. Sometimes they cost a bit more money. You're going to have to factor that in, obviously, into your assessment to make sure that the P&L is sound. All right, before we send it back to Adara, I want to remind you guys that we did get an Apple headline intraday. The information reports that we are maybe getting a thinner iPhone in 2025. It's said to be maybe the iPhone 17. As a result, Apple did pop into $189.98, sold off yet again, but now it's putting in a bit of a V-shaped recovery here on the dead one, looking to come into the volume weighted average price, which is also at that 190 level. So double the reasons why it could reject off 190, the $10 level, and VWAP. We'll have to wait and see what it does. If it makes its way up there, it's only about 10 pennies away from it now. Let's see what Apple does there.
Yeah, soon these iPhones are going to be so thin you can't hold them.
You're right?
And they'll be like little bricks of air.
You'll lose them.
Also, yeah, I think I want to talk about NVIDIA again. I'm so sorry. I know those are the only words out of my mouth. It's a little bit, I was a little bit like, complex and emotionally confusing when your favorite style of trading is one that's a little bit hard to do when you're on a show, right? And by that I mean just sitting here watching NVIDIA like she's my little child, watching what she does in the books, getting involved, getting out. It's a lot of fun, but you can't take these trades all the time. But I think this type of trading going into next week, I want to show out Desi again, who's saying, focus on your losing trades and what kind of didn't go well. I agree in that, but I also think the other hand of that is, and that I don't do enough, is why did your winning trades work? And in this case with NVIDIA, it was because I've been watching the order book like a hawk, so I know what levels we've been bouncing in and out of. The reason I got long at NVIDIA, which might have been an eyebrow raiser, was because we were seeing higher lows. And I don't mean on the chart, I mean on the book, right? So if I'm seeing, we used to get to 933.20s and now we're getting 933.70s, that's something that for me goes bing, you can scalp this, right? And then the scalpulation comes in with when I'm seeing anything in the book that reverses, that's when I get out. In this case, I really wanted that break below 933s, but we kept bouncing off 933, so I got out 933.10s or 20s, 15s in between what I thought. So please just punch on that. I just kind of wanted to talk about that because I think it's both sides of the coin are really important to understand. Why did your losing trades not work? And then what were you doing in your winning trades that made them successful? So I just really want to shout out Desi crazy on that because I think that comment absolutely made me think. Also, yeah, we had that. Thank you again to Justin Swearingen for your super chat. And yeah, this meta is still really fancy. Not anything that I would necessarily play, but you know what I did want to play that I missed out on that I know our pal Sean is in is Hood. Robinhood. He's in the hood, but he's not wearing a hood. He's wearing a baseball cap right now. And he is a cool 22 pennies in the money with his confidence on that Robinhood trade. So shout out to you. I like this VWAP projection. I tried to take 20.05s. Oh, no, he actually is in the hood.
Yeah, I saw him put it on too. It was so funny.
So,
he put it on after you said that.
Yeah, he's Robinhood in the hood. The Seanfidence is flowing, and I have to say, I want to shout out Sean as well because Seanfidence inspired me to take the short the pop trade on Apple on news. I was trying to think, I saw that move up. Sharif was like, oh, we have that news. And I was thinking, you know, Adara, if you like this, it's like the type of play that I think Sean would probably take. And I'm not saying that's why I took it. I'm saying I liked it for my own reasons. But I'm saying, you know when Sean has that confidence and take those news plays, right? That's what I was trying to do. I was like, Adara, if you like it, use your own confidence to get involved. To quote Ariana Grande, I see it, I like it, I want it, I got it. Took the short, took 10 pennies, bounced. That's the type of trading I need to do more often. Scalp Nation, either off of levels and book reading like NVIDIA or off of news like I did with Apple. Stuff I need to work on. Apparently we're free falling on FFE. Oh my gosh, I hope people had stop losses. I seriously hope everyone's okay in that FFIE.
Yeah, well, it's around for a good time, not a long time, so you need to prize yourself with that. All right, 260 is an interesting bottom here on FFIE. I want to see how this one continues to make it down. It blew through all the levels. No VWAP, no $3, no 50, no 20, no nothing. This candle right here that precipitated the down move had 19 million shares of volume done on this one candle here. So you can tell exactly how much came in there fast and dang furious. So that is an interesting look there. So we'll continue to watch that. FLJ halted to the high side again. It's about 5 pennies below that HOD. 195 is the HOD, but look what it's doing. It's putting in higher lows. So even though this thing is halting like a maniac, 195 is still the high on the day. What's going on over on that side? So FFIE, long Sean, 282.
Actually, to the penny?
282 long on the Katina band there. Look at it go through 310. Big moves there for Faraday futures. Quick buys. And this candle's already done 9 million shares, man. That's nuts. Faraday is one hell of a mover today. Keep your eye out on that if you like small cap gappers. Tupperware still going. Astis trying to recover, but I'm not going to look at that until it gets back above VWAP now. Now I'm looking here at Apple because it's now putting in higher lows, and for whatever reason it's decided that it's going to range in between yesterday's closing print at 189.95 and this 190 again. Not again. We had this level do this already, so we started doing this at around 1040 until we broke down here at 1115 below that level. So it looks like we're bound to do that again unless we break above 190 this time, right? Because looks like it's ranging a little bit here. There's a topping tail candle right into 190 that rejected. So AAPL doing things here. Meta right back into VWAP again. And now it's been featuring with VWAP either from the top side or the low side. It hasn't discriminated. Sometimes it's rejecting VWAP top down. Sometimes it's bouncing off it top up. So we'll see exactly what we get here. I know, right? 470 and 2/3 is where I'd be looking, and you could look to wet your beak maybe at 471.50. So a little bit less than $1 worth of range there, but not a bad look here on Meta. But be careful, because unexpected moves like this break down and unexpected moves like that break up. And so that's the unpredictability of trying to trade that particular range on Meta, because it does seem to flip here. Softies continuing to head down. Should have held that short, but yeah, that's okay. So it does reject off the 20 and hasn't made its way right back into the 20 as of yet. 418.73. Keep your eye out on 418 though. I'd be interested in a long on 418 because it's held that level a couple times today. And has 418 featured before? A little bit. You know, there's a little bit of featuring at 418. Nothing that I want to put too much stock in though, Adair.
Yeah, I mean, one thing people want to take stock out of right now is NVIDIA selling off. I tried to get that 933.26 print. We got to 933.22s, and NVIDIA fell. And I said, you know what, NVIDIA, I respect you. I respect you enough to know you need to fall on your own pace, go on your own terms, and if you come back, I'll wait for you. In case you're wondering, I don't know if anyone cares, but my levels for NVIDIA are basically, at least the most recent ones, that 930 366 kind of rejection is nice. That 933 to me has definitely been a level off of which to play. But I think the clear level are these lower highs and this flat bottom at 932s. Not how I'm playing NVIDIA, because we know I'm here for a good time, not a long time. I'm like a motorcycle rider. I'm just in my Harley Davidson, in and out of that thing down the highway. Leave no witnesses. I don't know where this analogy went, but it went somewhere, and that's what matters. See, NVDA, really happy with what I've done in that name so far. And I don't want to risk it with the trade I don't like. Apple, I like what you said on Apple here, and I feel like Apple has, you know, some stuff going on there, that's for sure. I like that rejection. Look at that. That was not English.
I love that stuff going on. I love it. You're accurate.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think you'd say that about any stock, but you could say about Apple, so in that case, it's still accurate.
True.
We had that wick into 190, and we rejected. I've been just shorting Apple all day if I see stuff I like on it. So if we get into that 189.90, I may have to take the dead one on a dance to the downside.
It'd be dead, baby.
Also, this is really funny yesterday as well, because I forgot that Kraken's name wasn't Kraken.
Yeah,
And then
Crown.
Neil was like, what is Kraken? And I thought it was called Kraken. And he's like, no, it's not. And I was like, oh. And then Sean's like, yeah, like Sharif's always coming up with names for stuff, like Apple.
It was
the dead
CRKN, like, you know, the ticker
no,
really looked like Kraken.
Yeah, it was because I forgot about that. But yeah, we know, shout out to the nickname king of Trader TV Live.
I do like making up nicknames.
like
It's
them.
not really my thing. It's kind of an Egyptian thing. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it was your thing.
No, it's not. Like everybody, like if that part of the culture, everybody's got nicknames. Oh, the TQs just stopped me out. So wow, what a big move down here on the TQs. Everything headed down, Apple included. Even the Cybertruck just came into the 20s. So new low day now, 18,607. Good move down there on the future. I got stopped out for a 10-penny loser there. Tried to get in, basically, this was the idea here. I tried to get in at the lows on the future. So it had held up there once, twice, and OB thrice. But this time, fourth time was not a charm here, and then it dropped bigly right into 18,607. It didn't touch 600 quite yet. So keep your eye out on that, but big move up right back on the future. So yeah, it did stop me out there, but that's kind of the nature of things. We'll see if we can get back in here if it continues to head up. Nice move up on the future there off that bottom. What else we got going on? Let's flip to some of these small cap gappers. Yeah, not much going on here except for FLJ. This thing won't stop going. 320% now. It's taken that day high, and now it's up to $2.02, halted there. You know, I'd be interested in getting something off the 10 or the 20 here. Alas, it just halts too much, so can't risk that move there.
Yeah, I wanted Tesla off that bounce. I initially had 31s. Tesla gets to a cool 34 and bounces. Then I'm like, you know, Tesla, I don't want to chase you, but I'll move up a couple pennies. How about Tesla? How about we do 178.35? Can you live with that? No, it can't. It can't. I just want a small position here. I'm aware this is like probably if counter trend had like, you know, a photo in the dictionary, this would be the photo. But I do think, again, we know how I trade. This is going to be Scalp Nation, okay? I want minimum 176.70s. If we break above into that rejection around 179, that's not going to be too shabby for me. If we break into this 178, like 12s, that's where I get out. But I think the thing is, too, is if you like something, you need to have more confidence and get it. And I think my whole thing is I've been thinking I'm not a confident trader. But then it's like, Adara, you have been weirdly scalping one of the most insane monsters in the market. So clearly you must have some confidence in what you're doing. So then the answer is just don't take trades you're not confident in. I don't know why it's taking me so long to figure this out. But I had this whole epiphany while I was listening, you know, to Sharif talking about nicknames and everything. And I was like, oh, Adara. If you just have confidence in things that make sense to have confidence in, right? So a little embarrassing to be figuring out at this point, but you know, better late than never, though, as Aubrey Drake Graham says, never late is better. No. So yeah, I just wanted to explain that Tesla trade. It is something I like. I watched the bounce. I didn't hop in all willy-nilly. I waited, and you know, I think, you know, to quote another Drake song, scheming, plotting, scheming, getting money, we hope, on this TSLA trade. Because, yeah, this right now, it's the furthest thing from its high of day, but it could always pop back up there. And if anyone got that Drake reference, shout out to you. Nothing was indeed the same. You're also in that Tesla long. You got a better price than me.
Oh, wow. No. Oh, that was a resting order. Thank you for... This is the problem, right? With having the blotter on the side.
I didn't know that was it. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
That. Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't want this trade. I'm in the money, but this is not a planned trade, so I'm out.
Yeah. I thought we were both in this Cybertruck together. I was like,
this
woo, woo.
software, man. It's just not. Anyway.
It's hard.
Yeah, no, it's got to be a little bit better. But anyway, I'm long the future. I'm looking for a hold at this level. We put in a bottoming tail candle on the NQ, so precipitated me to get long. So I'm going to see if we'll wet our beak here if we can print through 62.85. But the idea here is I see a top bottoming tail candle. It's not really a hammer candle, but it got bought up immediately off that 18,607 bounce. And then you saw kind of a recovery on a lot of the Mag 7 names as well. But that could be precipitating a bigger move down. Never really know. Bit of a hammer candle on Apple as well, but it looks like the monster NVDA is kind of pushing this market south a little bit because it's the one that's continually printing lower lows and lower highs. Look at these beautiful rejections off the 20. There was one rejection off the 50, but most of them have held at the 10. Again, the deeper ones into the 20, but we'll continue to watch that. I could definitely be persuaded into something short on NVDA, especially with the pattern that it's had on today. It's been looking awfully good, I got to tell you the truth. And I think Adara thinks the same way. There we go. Nice little beak weather there on the future. We'll see if it can continue to head back up nicely right now. Apple also bouncing up off that low. So I don't know what that whole market drop was, but it looks like kind of recovered, not really. Well, I want to play this range on Apple though, so I'll be looking to short 190 because every move into 190 subsequent to 10:40 a.m. has sold off. So an interesting range developing here on Apple, even though you have this dip down into the $0.50 here. 190, a local area of resistance, no question about it. But look at all these hammer candles now that have come in on some of these Mag 7 names. You see it on Meta. You see it on Microsoft. You see it on Apple as well. Not so much on the soft one, right? No, on goggles, I mean, because it's been strong on the day. A little bit here on NVIDIA, so good look there. What's going on, Adara?
Yeah, I mean, we're basically flat. Like, it's not that exciting, but Tesla getting that bounce that I wanted. I like this TSLA very much. And you know what? I know sometimes you call range trades Adara Panera trades, but you might have to start calling them Chief Sharif trades because Sharif has been killing those range trades as of late. So I think this is what happens when you sit next to someone, right? Is you get different ideas. You start seeing charts how you see, like other people see charts. Because if I know what Sharif likes in a small cap, then I know what it looks like when that's kind of coming to fruition, right? And it's like if Sharif knows what I like in a range, then same kind of idea. So shout out to that. Also, Miss NVIDIA, I do approve of your short there. We know what my levels are: 933, 933.60, 934.50, 935. Are they specific? Heck yeah. They come from looking at the tape and a combination of what we're seeing on the chart. But in terms of what you were saying with that NVIDIA short, that flat bottom to me is why that's the longer term. I know I took a long on this, but that was totally like a scalp play based on what I saw in the book.
Love it.
So yeah, shout out to that. Also Tesla, I'd love to shout you out, but you kind of have to be performing a little bit better for that. So, if you want to keep bouncing here, I'm pleased as punch. I might even add to you a little bit. If
Oh.
128.
Now someone's becoming a real good trader now, adding to positions. I love that.
We'll see. It has to prove itself to me first, Sharif.
That's been my Achilles heel for many years.
It is still. I feel like I always add to the wrong positions. I think that's my biggest thing. But if you want to keep bouncing, I think there might be some more shares in your Cybertruck. Go vroom, vroom, vroom to the upside. I love your trade.
Yeah, we're doing well on it right now. About 15 pennies in the money on these TQQs long. Okay, we're almost 20 pennies now. It's knocking the door 63. The future put in one hell of a hammer candle here off that 18,607. I'll get it right one day. 18,607 dump and then pamp into the 20 period. So I'm going to end the trade here. This is good for me because I want to focus on this Apple trade now. So we're going to go back into the Apple screen, the one that we had up for Apple. Well, I should have stayed in that Tesla trade, eh? Look at that. I literally had bottom wick, but it wasn't planned, and I wasn't mentally prepared for it. So I'm going to steer clear of that. But anyway, looking back here for this Apple trade that I want to set up on 190. Oops, AAPL, not AAA. There we go. So 190 is a level that I'll be looking to short. I'm going to sit at 99s to front run the size a little bit. The out here will be a decided break of that level. Now, I got to tell you that this is getting a little bit riskier of a trade. Why? Because we're incrementally putting in higher lows, higher lows. So we could be setting up for a flat top break through 190. And on top of that, you've got a midday catalyst, even though it wasn't really received as well as maybe Apple had hoped during the midday doesn't mean that it won't be received a little bit better later, especially as, you know, people digest the information. So I am a little weary of playing that range over and over, especially with incrementally higher lows. That V-shaped recovery could result in a flat top break through 190. So I'll definitely be looking to exercise sound risk management on that, as well as I should always be doing that. So keeping an eye on AAPL. I don't have any other trades on any other Mag 7s except to say that I'm looking at NVDA at 934. If it comes into that 934 high, 933s, 933.95, this, that, or the other, that's the 20-period moving average. And as you can see here, for the exception of one outlying event from 1040 to 1050, it's rejected, or 1055, it's rejected the 20 period every single time. And when it didn't, it made its way into the 50. So I don't want to call it a predictable trade because it's going to make me regret saying that, probably in a quick heartbeat. But all I can see is what the current price action has showed me, which is lower highs, lower lows, and a propensity reject off the 20 on the pops back up. And that's as good as I can do for an analysis. So I'm going to keep eyes on NVIDIA here, but I may get triggered into this Apple short before the NVIDIA short. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens there for that Apple. I will say as well, someone who's a bit of an NVIDIA nerd and have been watching those levels like a hawk today, I concur with your analysis. I also think areas of resistance, 935 and 936.50, those are the two big areas of resistance.
Okay, thank you.
For what that's worth. I don't know if that's worth anything, but that is just my 2 cents on N to the V to the D to the A.
Love it.
I know one trade that our pal Sean has been in is going to be this Robinhood short. And I tried to get this 2005, and, you know, Robinhood said to me, "You're so 2000 and late, so bye. I was like, cool, fine. I can understand that, whatever, live your life. But if we have this other 90 MA rejection, oh, okay, but I don't want to get involved in that because we bounced off that 1970, so I don't know. This, to me, there's confluence here with that bounce off 1970 at previous resistance. Yeah, I don't know if that will, I think that outweighs or negates any rejections that I'm seeing. I want to see how my little Tesla's doing. Keep bouncing, Tesla. Keep bouncing back. Let's take a look at GME. Yeah, okay, I have to actually think, I think Tesla wants me to leave her. No, she's bouncing, okay. Keep bouncing, Tesla. GME, Ahmed Awala says, thank you so much for the $10 super chat, AED. GME for happy weekend. I think for me personally, GME might make for like a slightly nail-biting, stressful weekend. But, you know, right now, we can't break above VWAP, but I think what's even more interesting is this line I drew early. Look at this 2150. Look at this this support we had beautifully, 2150. Then we reject it viciously. So I think this 2150, a bit of a rejection area. That being said, beautiful curl, beautiful bounce at 2010s. So I think this could be an interesting level. Let's take a look at that daily chart of GME. This daily chart's hard, yeah.
Remember the 1 penny thing?
I do.
Yeah, I didn't get short on Apple because of that. I'm so frugal, Adara. Why?
That's always so annoying. Blame Apple.
Yeah, no, I blame myself. Why do I have it at 99s when I know 99 was the level? Why didn't I put it at 98? And then it comes right back down. Okay, so that's my fault.
But we live and we learn.
Yeah, well, you think I'd be trading for 4 years, I would have learned by now. But anyway, B-Bot, 5,000. Jeez! $5 super chat for Sharif Sweet Stat. I don't know what sweet, but it's there. Shout out to Ram who just trolled me. Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate you, B-Bot, one of the OGs there in the chat, always seeing your comments, and thank you for being a member and always sticking with us every day, B-Bot. Thank you. So this is the trade that I'm complaining about here, in case you listen to me cry about it. Ram said she's going to give me $5 for this chat, by the way. Huh? I'm going to hold you that, Ram. Yeah, 189.99. I had my order sitting at it. Came into that level on the ask. It didn't trigger, and then right back down we go. But I'm still very cognizant of these higher lows. So I want to make it a point to say that this was going to be a scalp, that I was actually looking to scalp on 190. I feel we're getting accumulation in front of that 190 level, and chances, in my estimation, are better than not that we break through 190. So, you know, I'd like to take it as a scalp, but that's basically it. And I don't think I want it a second time here, because every time you make your way up into 190 with that higher low, what you're seeing on the chart is a reflection of buyers incrementally overwhelming sellers. Now, that doesn't mean that there isn't a monster seller on the north side of 190 that can overwhelm all the buyers currently present below 190. That doesn't mean that, right? So just because I'm seeing higher lows doesn't mean that it's really gonna break through, but it makes it more likelier than was previously the case. FLJ shot up into 235 at cool 320%, but as is true to form for these small cap gappers, let's switch to the 1 minute. There we go. We got a down halt now. After popping up to 235 and being halted for 10 minutes, down we go into $2. But, you know, look at this. I mean, this is the 1 minute, and you can easily observe that everything has held off the 50 on the 1 minute on a closing basis. It's wick below. And then when you flip to the 5, it's a bit of a similar look, except that here it's featuring with the 10, and at the deepest, it's going to the 20. So the fact of the matter is, even though this keeps halting and terrifying the you-know-what out of you, the trend is there. The trend is identifiable. So if you can hold this against you by taking a little bit smaller share size and getting in at an appropriate area, I would suggest one of these moving averages. I think that this could be a profitable trade. It's obviously very volatile on the day and headed higher. I don't have a reason that this is moving, right? I'm just looking here, guys. Yeah, this is not showing up on, I'm not seeing a reason why this is moving on my blotter. And then the previous entry from today was the 15th, which meant nothing. The 14th, the 13th. So yeah, I don't really see why this is moving. FLJ is the ticker I'm talking about. But I guess it doesn't really matter anymore as long as it's breaking technically and you exercise sound risk management there. So yeah, that's a look. All right. What are you looking at, Adair?
Looking at Tesla, and when I say looking at Tesla, I literally mean staring at Tesla like a hawk. Also, I'm very sorry Apple didn't let you in.
That's
and it's
okay.
I feel like it's so frustrating too, because it's like you don't know what penny level something will stop at, right? You really don't.
Yeah.
And 99 is like, you know, it makes sense because it's not like the whole dollar level, right? It's just before, but c'est la vie. To make, you know, it's one of those things you have to deal with as a trader. Tesla, I am starting to lose, you know, the anticipation is killing me here on Tesla. I want to see what we do. Yeah, okay, bye-bye, bye-bye, Tesla. Should have probably been more prepared for that breakdown, but I wasn't. That is my bad, absolutely. I was really trying to build into this position, and instead I got, you know, thrown out of that position. And I think one thing I definitely want to work on, and I showed it to Neil for the lesson today, is stop losses. I've had a really hard time setting stop losses for whatever reason. I think it's something I want to work on for sure, try to figure out how that works and finagling that. Finagling. Also, yeah, and the reason I should have gotten out was because I saw we're coming into resistance of the Qs. Adara, if we're coming into resistance of the Qs, there's a good chance Tesla will resist with you. But then I was also like, but Adara, it's been holding up so well, which it had been. And I was like, oh, if it you know, I want to see if it can like push up. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. It didn't work out. I'm not going to, you know, cry over spilt milk or lost shares in this case. I can't cry over my lack of management and the fact to add it in. But I liked it when I added in. So got to take a look at that here as well. NVIDIA, how are you doing, girl? Okay, I like these. I love these wicks into 934, literally kicking my feet under the chair. I've been watching the tape on this enough recently, or the book enough on this recently, so I don't know if we're still rejecting at the same levels. Like I said earlier, my big level in NVIDIA in this area is going to be 933.66 or 933.60s. If we reject again, I am going short. I like these lower highs. I like the flat bottom. But you know, if NVIDIA can do anything, it's bamboozle you. So that's something I want to keep in mind as well. Microsoft, getting interesting here too. Coming into that area, I shorted it this morning. If we reject, probably, I think my early entry, I still think was too, it was not great, this 419.35. So I would rather have something into 419.50s near where the price for Sharif got. If that short manifests, I want to take it, but it looks like that NVIDIA trade is really going to be the creme de la creme for me, at least anyway. Palantir as well. I know Elon was mentioning Palantir, so shout out to you, Elon, in the chat. Yeah, Palantir, I don't know if you, I think maybe Palantir long. I think the thing with Palantir is I really want to see what it does here. If it kind of bounces off this 2080. It looked like it was going to. Then we had this kind of failed wick. We've had lower highs decisively throughout the day. So we're going to have to see, I think if we can break above that 9 EMA, that'd be a nice look. But I think beyond VWAP, we also have this very bizarre area of top and churn at 2190. So I think Palantir needs to prove itself there to make sure the way is Palan clear for any longs to take some opportunities. What other trades are people looking at here? I saw a firm. Apparently a firm at high of day. I need to look at that. A firm. What's firming up here on a firm? Sorry. Oh my gosh, a firm. Hello, ma'am. Up like. Whew. Yeah, that's a nice look here. Not seeing any news on this, but nice look here for a firm. And look at this. It gives you an opportunity to dip by. We get to that 32.90, top and turn, then it swoops to the upside. Also, Tesla kept pushing lower. So again, you know, it's for the best that we got out of this. The anticipation was just killing me. I should have just gotten out when I saw what we were doing, but I had no reason to leave, so I didn't. Oh, that was from yesterday,
That
right?
was, but it didn't react. And there's nothing today, so I'm assuming this is bigger money repositioning into the position now.
That makes sense.
Remember what the NOS boss told us? And if you know, I'm just going to mention it to our viewers. So Michael NOS used to work at a hedge fund. And, you know, every hedge fund obviously operate a little bit differently, but he would tell us that after, you know, a earnings report came out or a new news catalyst came out, these hedge funds have like buying and selling committees. Everyone's a little bit different, obviously, so they digest the new information. They then vote or do whatever the process is that they've done internally to either buy or sell the name. So when a news catalyst like this comes out, you could see positioning by big money in the days and the weeks subsequent to it. And that's why I anticipate to see here, likely with the firm. This is the headline yesterday. Visa rolls out new tech rivaling Apple Pay, teams up with a firm for easier transactions. Anybody who knows what Apple Pay has done to the likes of PayPal and others knows what kind of market share Apple has taken from some of these payment providers. So this is big, especially if they can actually rival them. And Visa ain't no chump, right? Visa is bigly. So the fact that Visa is throwing its hat into the ring, I think should mean a little bit more than, say, you know, whatever, some new technology comes out from some obscure company that we don't know. Anyway, so we'll have to wait and see what this is. A firm, though, getting a great move on the day, 6.13%. But I got to warn you guys that some of this could be because of the short float on the firm. And the short float is not nearly as big as it used to be. It's now 12.25%. It used to be in the 30s or something like that. Or was that Carvana? I don't really remember. Anyway, so 12.25% of the float is shorted, so keep your eye on that. All right, back to this trading over here. Looking at Apple as we continue yet again to do that range between yesterday's closing price, 189.85 and 190 to the high side. I tried to get in initially 90, did not let me in. I'm going to look for a more interesting trade, and here is possibly one. Now, softies rejected twice off the 20 on the 5, the 20-period exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart. People wondering what I mean by that in the chat, so I just want to identify it. We have the initial rejection here. It doesn't go as quickly as you may like it to because it hung out this area at around maybe quarter to 12, and it took me forever to print on this, but I did end up printing. Not the best, though, because it did move down lower. Now it's back at that 20 period yet again, and believe it or not, it's finding resistance there again. Currently doing the dance between 419.25 and 419.15 or thereabouts. So this is an interesting area here on Softy, but the range is getting a little bit tighter. So here's what I mean by that. Like the first time you moved up into the 20, you got a big boy move down off that 20 touch. You got a 20 touch and a move down, but it wasn't nearly as big of a boy. And it took way longer, Adara, for that to manifest. Here it comes down again, now touching 06s, so we'll see if the 20 period holds up again on Softy. I shorted the 20 period a couple of times this week on the soft one, all with good effect. So it's featured on Microsoft for whatever reason. I really don't care why. TSLA coming down now below 178. We do have an interesting area of price action bottom over here. This 177.50. Now, you're not going to catch me with a resting order around those levels, but there is something possibly afoot at these levels. Look at all this wick shimmy we did between 178.25 and 177.5. And that took place for how long? 1110 till we broke out of that level at 1150. So that took place for a while. So keep your eye out on possible support here at 177.50, and it's already in the mid 60s. So showing at least that there was a scalp to be had off that 177.50, at least for now, we'll see. So keeping an eye on TSLA. What else do we have here? Yeah, Tesla. Good look there. Ooh, NVIDIA, you monster, you. Now, NVIDIA is breaking through the 20. Now, is this gonna be a wick and then we're gonna move back down? But I'm cognizant of this 20 break because we haven't broken the 20 on a closing basis, Adara, since this print over here at 1040. So it's been a long, long time since we've been above the 20. And last time we did break above the 20, look where we got to, the 50, right into that 50-period moving average, and then right back down. So I'll be looking for the 50 if the 20 doesn't hold up here, but Tesla has been lower highs and low, well, not really lower lows. It feels like a 930, 931 flat bottom here. So keeping an eye on NVIDIA and keeping an eye on Tesla.
Yes, indeed. Yes, La. We are keeping an eye on Tesla. Yeah, I was watching NVIDIA and I realized it was breaking up, and it's like I did not have the confidence, what have you, to get involved in that. But it's funny. I was setting my order, my point of entry in Microsoft right when you brought it up, because I saw the same thing you did, that rejection.
I like it. Look good for you.
Thank you.
I hope you print.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope.
Can you imagine I said I hope you don't print? Like in front of everybody? Like what kind of a maniac would I be?
Right? That would be maniacal. But also, yeah, they're like, we're like this off screen too. You know, we're always trying to support each other, everybody in the chat as well. So, because I wanted to clarify, because you said, imagine if I said in front of everyone.
Yeah, I know. Like, wow.
He's never said, I hope you don't print. I just want to put that out there for the record for YouTube. But yeah, so Microsoft, we're going to let her do her thing 21, or I guess actually do her thing 19. If she breaks above 50s, I'm going to have to say au revoir, but it looks like she wants to get a bit of a move to the downside. Also, the reason I like this 20 entry, even though I said initially, oh, I want the 1940s because I'm jaded from earlier today when I got a horrible point of entry. It's like, I thought, what was that voice? Like, was I possessed?
I love it.
I don't know where that came from.
You comment about my Alfred voice. I didn't say anything about that voice.
I mean, you could have. I don't know what came over me. But no, I think what it was I really, that 419.20 was kind of the base earlier of this range, right? So if that's going to become, if we're going to flip from support to resistance, that's what needs to matter, not my weird, strangely demon-voiced bitterness over my entry point earlier. That can't matter. What has to matter is what I like in the trade and actual technical levels. So we're going to get involved in that. Hopefully by the time this lesson's over, I'll be singing What I Like About You to Microsoft.
Hey.
But before we do that, we have to talk about what we like, or what we need to understand limitation-wise about moving average crossovers. That's a great time for my throat to give up. So moving average crossover is a really popular technique we've been yapping about all week. Really great technical analysis tool, but like every strategy we're going to talk about and how to trade, and just in general, it does have some limitations. So today we're going to talk about these limitations and how you approach them to become a more well-rounded trader. So let's talk about the allure and Achilles heel of crossovers. They can be fantastic for identifying trends, as we've talked about all week, but they're not perfect. Nothing's perfect, right? Here are some key limitations to consider. So lagging indicators, right? Like moving averages are lagging indicators, like a lot of the indicators we're going to talk about, pretty much all of them, and they do react to past price movements. So this means they might miss the very beginning or an end of a trade, potentially leading to late entries or early exits. Let's also talk about false signals, really common in every technical indicator as well. And with the moving average crossovers can be misleading, and we have an example of that in the slide coming up, especially during volatile periods or with a shorter term MA, which can result in unnecessary trades and potential L's. And we also want to talk, of course, about the fact that you do have limited information. That's why confirmation is so key. If you're looking at one indicator, especially if it's lagging, you're not going to get all the info you need. You're not going to get that wealth of information. You're going to get a tiny penny of information. You don't want one penny. You want the whole shebang. Crossovers only tell one part of the story. Then they don't consider fundamental factors, which are going to matter maybe if you're doing a swing trade or a longer term trade. And they also don't consider economic data that can impact future stock prices. Let's talk as well about embracing multidisciplinary approaches. So how do you overcome these limitations? Well, we're going to give you some strategies, like combining with other technical indicators, confirmation, confluence, whatever words you want to use. We've been yapping about this all week as well. You don't want to solely rely on one crossover. Don't put all your eggs in one basket unless you're Sharif, in which case definitely do. And then add some eggs for the road. But don't put all your, don't rely just on one indicator, right? You want to make sure you're integrating these indicators with other momentum indicators, volume analysis, or support and resistance levels. And in that way, you're going to get a better picture, sense of what the market's doing, and a better picture. Also, maybe check if you're trading the NQ, what are the Qs doing? Or if you're trading an NQ name, what are the Qs doing? What are the SPYs doing? Make sure that you have a better picture of what's going on with the market than just these two indicators on your one chart. Also consider incorporating fundamental analysis. Again, this is not going to be for day trading as much as it's going to be for longer term trading, but you want to make sure you understand the company's financials, industry trends, and broader economic factors, which can help to confirm or contradict any signals you're getting from crossovers.
Bang.
Also, you want to practice patience. You do not want to force trades on weak crossover signals. Don't go chasing waterfalls. You want to make sure that you're sticking to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to, and you're using confirmation and market conditions that align with your strategy to help improve your chances of success. And here's one picture. I like this. So you see your moving average crossover signifies a sell signal, but you don't get involved right away. No, you wait for that rejection. And that's when you get in. I love this one. Then you also have this stochastic MA example, which actually shows it's a little bit chop and turn until you get what you want. You have your buys, but then you drop down a little bit, right? Then you get it again, and that's when you have to go. So that's proof that these crossovers and confirmation can be helpful, but they're not going to work 1,000% of the time. But let's talk about the takeaway, because that's what you always want from these lessons, right? What's your leftovers? What are you taking home? You want to understand that no signal indicator is ever going to guarantee success in this ever-changing market. You're here for a good time, not a long time, especially if you're a day trader. So you want to make sure that what's making sense is making sense for you, but you're also ready to go ahead and flip the style up if you need to. And if they let it,
what are you going to do?
And watch the money pile up.
I like it.
By understanding, though, as well, the limitations of crossovers and embracing a multidisciplinary approach, which combines a little bit of technicals, a little bit of fundamentals, you'll be better equipped to make informed trading decisions and navigate those ever-changing markets with greater confidence. And, crossovers are, of course, going to be a valuable tool, but you need to make sure you're using them in conjunction with other analysis methods, which is always what we're about over here at How to Trade. We're also about trading NVDL. So let's talk about that. Hope you get that in VDW.
Look, so I was looking for the short. Number one, I can't short NVDL without paying for it. And number two, I was starting to think that the trend could be changing here. Now, I'm not saying it is. We did get a couple of closes above the 20 period, but they're perfunctory closes. Let's call a spade a spade. And we definitely still have this 935, let's call it 934.5-ish area. It's a $900 name, guys. Right, so we got to be a little bit loosey-goosey with the ranges here. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see. If I print, I print. If I don't, I don't. I don't care. Come what may. I'm not gonna be all worried about it. But now the spread is opening up a little bit. We'll see exactly what we get here. We are putting in lower lows and lower highs on the future, so I'm cognizant of that. Oh wow, NVIDIA, and then it did reject that area, so it is now doing a little bit of a more volatile dance. I have my out on the break of 41.90, so we'll risk exactly 10 pennies on this trade. Now 5 pennies out of the money on NVIDIA. Yeah, it does look it's going to come down off support level, or sorry, support level 1. So it's been dancing with that level for whatever reason all morning. Still at the 20 right now. We'll see what we get on this name, NVDL, but does look like I will get stopped out here as it did reject that level. So yeah, the short was in play, and I decided not to take it, so that's on me. Let's see what else is going on over here. Everyone's yelling about FFIE because it came all the way back down again. Wowzers, look at that move on FFIE, 390 touch, and now we touched about 210, breaking all the levels. Pre-market high, sorry, pre-market low, everything really. We broke everything. The only thing we really held above were these institutional level prints, and yeah, those don't really fill you. You're not going to get filled on those if you have a resting order there at 8 a.m. It probably won't trigger you. So we'll keep an eye exactly to see if FFIE can recover. Also FLJ, this one topped out at 275, 2 3/4. It's halted to the downside at 235 at a previous halt up level. So interesting area of support here. Now, believe it or not, even though it's halted down, look how far away it's starting to move away from the 10 period on the 5, right? That's just showing you that it's like it's got velocity going to the high side there. So fantastic look for FLJ. Also, Tupperware, it did come into VWAP a couple of times. It broke it, so I'm hesitant to even look at this. And there, as I talk about it, it did break down below VWAP again. So those lower lows and lower highs really, you know, giving it back all here on top. And Astis has been really tightly moving at the volume weighted average price of the 50. Take your pick. It's been very consolidative after breaking through 5. We had a good trade on that one earlier, but it gave back the entire move now. So we'll leave that one. If it sets up again, it sets up again. Oh, funny enough, I didn't get stopped at an NVDL, I guess because NVDA didn't tank in with the vigor that I was looking for. So packing my patience on this name. The stop's already in place. The beak wetter is in place. Come what may, baby. That's what we're gonna say about that. The other one that's been very strong, and is this the leader? No. So Tesla's the leader in terms of Mag 7 names, but Google's not that far behind. And I gotta tell you, currently Google's chart looks a lot better than Tesla's, which is, you know, coming down off highs. Google just printed highs, 176.19 HOD. As you can see, we've been moving up every day this week on goggles. There has not been a negatory day on goggles this week. We started off the week 164-ish. We're going to close it off, it looks like maybe 176-ish. So great look here for Google, man. Wow. Obviously, we had the I.O. event, this, that, and the other. But I think really, I don't know how everybody digested this I.O. event, but I was getting like, you know, bits and pieces of the actual use of the new device or the software that they presented there, with actual users sitting down at a desk and like demonstrating how it's used in real life. And those started making the rounds online. And man, in the long form, because they're more long form, they're not really quick snippets for an audience, you really see the power of these ones. And I already gave you guys an idea of what I'm talking about with the podcast, and it makes, you know, any PDF or any document you want, it puts it in a podcast format where these two AIs are talking to each other, and then you can interrupt them and speak to them together and ask it questions, be like, hey, give it to me in this context, that anyway. So I think it's pretty cool stuff. And I think that obviously the market's digesting it there. All right, so I did get stopped out of my NVDL trade. So I should have stuck with the shorts there, but I couldn't short NVDL. So dumb decisions to go long here for whatever reason, Adara. What do you look at?
Yeah, I mean, I'll echo that. I unfortunately had a fat finger move and gave up a lot of my gains in NVIDIA. Still up on the name, but I'm gonna make a little bit of a sad face. Before I could even, you know, you're supposed to get out of these when they happen, right? Before I could even get out, ma'am just drops on me. And in case you're like, how did you fat finger to this trade? Well, I'll tell you. So I wanted to get involved, 933.88, which I think would have been a bit more respectable for my scalp purposes, right? Then Miss NVIDIA, in her infinite wisdom, no, it's all me. It's totally my fault. I accidentally, instead of punching 932.88s, I punched, or sorry, instead of punching 933.88s, I punched 934.88s. So I got filled automatically. Good times. And then before I could get out, she dropped down. But you know what? That is a massive L for me. That's okay. I tried to get out, and then she just wouldn't have the opportunity to get out. So we are down on the day. We're still up on NVIDIA, I will say, but it's a little bit unfortunate. We gave up a lot of those gains we made earlier. But you know what? That's the whole point. The market will chew you up, spit you out.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to explain why I like that entry as well, is because I love, you know, I like that look you had in it, and also the futures were bouncing. NVIDIA bounced off the 90 EMA. I was like, okay, Confluence, let's get involved. And my fat fingers were like, actually, we don't care about Confluence. We care about your own user error. So I was like, that's cool. That's fine, man. If we reject off 933, I'll take it short. I like that 933 short all day, waxing poetic about it. I stand by the idea to have the long. I just don't stand by the fact that I fat fingered into it and that I wasn't able to sell right away. That's my bad. And you got to admit to that, you got to own up to it, reflect on it. What I'm extremely proud of though is this Microsoft scalp. I wanted 418.80s, realized I wasn't gonna get it, said Adara, take your 20 cents, wave bye-bye, do your standing ovation, take your bow, get the heck out of Dodge. That's what I did, took 20 pennies. Happy with this. I was gonna risk into 40s, but we didn't even really need to, which was kind of nice. Microsoft stayed down. The reason I got out was it just wasn't really moving the way I thought it was going to, so that's why I got out. I wanna watch though here what we do with the Qs on, 451.40. If we reject here, that's going to be where I strike on this NVIDIA short around 933s. To quote Cobra Kai and Karate Kid, strike first, strike hard, no mercy. These markets love to not show any mercy, but sometimes you got to be just as, with the swiftness and the viciousness as they are. You have to be back at that in them. And with that in mind, Mademoiselle, NVDA, I think this might be my play. I don't consider this to be a revenge trade. I've liked these levels all day. I just, it's the time to enter. So I just want to clarify that as well, because this is one that I've loved all day. Just because I had a fat finger, got a little bit chopped up, doesn't mean I still don't like these levels. And I do love these markets.
All right.
And you're in your Apple.
Yeah, I took some profits out there. We put a bit of a hammer candle on that little dip there on the dead one. We'll see if we get a move back up on this name. One hammer candle means, not a whole lot. Quite frankly, you never want to put too much stock into one candle, but looking for that range to stay in place. And the trend also, because we've been putting in higher lows on Apple for the most part, so we'll see exactly what we get here on the Apple. Yeah, what are we doing here? Okay, what else we got? Meta's also at VWAP. This could be another interesting look here on META. It's come into that level a couple of times now and printed. This is the level I'm looking at right there on Meta, right at that VWAP. 471.5 seems to be a local top. I'm hesitant to get in at VWAP because it really hasn't bounced off VWAP all that much. I mean, what you do get is these hammer candles that take you back above VWAP, but we'll see what we get here. I'm not going to be quick to jump into this name. All right, let's see if we can get some more out here on the. What's going on? Oh yeah, I have to cancel that. Okay, that's why. All right, we'll see if we can get some more out here on AAPL. We'll put it out at 75s. If we can get something out at 75s, it'll be interesting. What else? What else? What else? Okay, let's check these small cap gappers, baby, because they were doing things earlier. Okay, wow, Faraday. Faraday is really coming down now, though, guys. Be careful with this one. As I mentioned, around for a good time, not a long time. And here we go. It did break $2, 195, so that's by far the low day. This is the area that we closed out yesterday before the aftermarket pump. Did this pump in the aftermarket? Let's see. No, it didn't do a whole lot in the aftermarket. So this is the closing print from yesterday. 164 is the level. So if we make way down there, keep your eye out for that level. It could be nothing, and it could be an interesting area of support. No question about it. We'll be looking for that. So much do I like it that I'm putting my alert there to let me know once it makes its way down there. I'm going to put it a little bit above that level as well. Put it about 10 pennies above. So we got that activated there for FFIE. This one has been an absolute monster today and yesterday. Not a whole lot for me on this side other than this Apple trade. About 5 pennies in the money. Nothing to write home about on this one. Looking for a beak wetter at $0.75. It did close out that hammer candle, but it really means nothing at this level. What else? What else? NVIDIA continuing to reject off that 934 2/3 down into 932 2/3. So I'm really lamenting not having actually traded NVDA because I did have the right idea with this one to take it short. Alas, could not get shorts on NVDL. They were paid for shorts, and I didn't want to go through that whole process of waiting for them and then have the price action run away from me. That's on me. That's not on anybody else. So we'll continue to watch that. What is everybody looking at? Finch Jane says, choppy day is my best summary. I think that you would be right on that. I think the morning definitely had some momentum, no question about that. The midday today, not as exciting as some of the middays have been this week. Nothing we can really do there. Bob Ross is back in the chat. My man Bob Ross with the fro. He's got it going on there. DKNG, please. Yes, sir. Let's go into DKNG and have a look at Donkey Kong, see what it's up to on the day. Haven't had eyes on this one in a while. Okay, so it's selling off a little bit today, Bob. I got to tell you, not its day to day. What is it doing percentage-wise? Let's load up the deets. So Donkey Kong's down 1.5% on the day. I'm assuming you want me to look at it. Okay, I've got to look at it in a second because I'm getting the notification that FFIE is now coming into yesterday's closing print. So I'll do that in a second, Bob Ross. Sorry about that. I hate to, cut it off mid-analysis there, but we're going to have to look at Faraday because I did get the notification. So now Faraday's starting to really move here. Let's see if Faraday can get the bounce. The print is 165 that I'm looking at. Is it? Yeah, 165 exactly. Right now we're doing the dance in front of 170, and the tape And the book is really moving here, guys. Wowzers. We've done 785 million shares on this monster. I'm not going to have a resting order at the closing print. It needs to prove to me in real time that that is a big boy level, that it will hold up at those levels. Otherwise, I want no smoke. So there we go, 165 in play now, big size on 165, and there goes 165, hence why I didn't have a resting order, because the Katina Man is short 192, $2 right now on FFIE. It's going to halt to the downside here at 55, guys. You can see the accumulation at 55 here in the ask as well. Big size at those levels. It will not let it drop unless it pops at those levels. And there it is. It grays out. The Katina Man is locked in. That's a great short there. 50 pennies there, as now FFIE was up triple digits. Now it's down 5.5%. It goes to show you these ones are around for a good time, not a long time. I did print there on my move up on AAPL. It did fill me there at 76s, but it's still doing the dance at that level. Nothing really to write home about it, Dara, but these wicks, wow, nothing is closing at these levels. Everything is wicking and then coming back down, wicking, coming back down. So packing my patience, but wow, what a day.
Shout out, what a day indeed. To quote the title of a very questionable Drake and Future album from 2015, what a time to be alive. And I think that's certainly been the case. Shout out though in your Apple trades. I was saying to Sharif off camera this morning, I feel like Apple can be a really odd one to trade because he is often the dead one, but you're always killing it with those trades, so shout out to you. I like this IWM trade. I love trading these ETFs, haven't done it in a while. Look at that 90 MA rejection. Lower highs, lower lows.
Real nice.
Thank you, I want all the smoke. If we break above 2805s, coincidentally around VWAP, got to cut the cord, got to get out. I also, though, I got involved in the TQs, and I have to say, I kind of wish I got involved in Tesla, because I think the Tesla short might be sweeter here. We're bouncing off the bottom. That's where I want to take off part of the position. If we break above into this 85 area, both at previous support and around the 90 MA, that's where I have to cut it loose, say bye-bye. But honestly, I think that Tesla short was... No, but actually, you know what, Darren? No, that was near VWAP. You don't want to do that. We could reject here, but we could have also bounced, and I think the TQQs are a little bit sweeter looking here. I still like that IWM, but IWM is basically starting to make me have to say bye WM pretty darn soon. If we break into that 2805s, don't love that. Qs as well. This is just not, not been my week, and that's no one's fault but my own. The fat fingers were strong this week. The questionable trading decisions were strong this week. But you know what else is great and strong and important is just learning. You just have to keep coming back at it. I'm happy to have the weekend to kind of decompress, be like, what went wrong? Because, oh my gosh, we will have no shortage of answers to that question. No, I'm joking. Being, a little bit self-deprecating here, because I think you just got to recognize that it's just not the vibe sometimes. And today, this week, it has just not been the appropriate. My trading has just not been up to par. And I think some of that's been risk management. I think some of that's been where I've been setting my entries and exits. And I think some of that's just been not sticking with what I know. And yeah, you just got to do what you got to do. Still, honestly, still very positive that my strongest name in the day is NVIDIA, despite that fat finger snafu we had earlier. Obviously, I would have rathered we not have the fat finger snafu, but it is what it is. You can't change it. All you can do is admit it, embrace it, and see how Sharif's Apple trade went.
Sean, or D-Loaf says, he's asking Sean and I, what's the largest market cap name to ever halt in either direction? I don't know the specific name, but I know that the market has halted. And so it halted on 9/11. I know it halted on the financial crisis. It halted, I believe, one day in March 2020 when we had the COVID issues. So the market has halted. I believe that the circuit breaker is still 10. Is it 10% from the markets? Yes. So circuit breaker is 10%. Let's find out. Yeah. Let's find out. Katina Man says it's 6%. Let's find out. What is the percentage that the NASDAQ needs to reach to halt? Let's see if this one knows anything about that. Market-wide circuit breakers. Level 1, halt for 15 minutes if it triggers a 7% decline. Level 2, halt for 15 minutes again if another 13% comes in. And then level 3, halt for the remainder of the trading day if 20% gets triggered. That's according to Google Gemini. So good. That's interesting there. I didn't actually know any of that. So thank you for asking me that question because I didn't know the answer to that. Thank you. By the way, I want to show you this because we called this level out earlier. This VWAP hold here on META. Now, I was hesitant to take it because it hadn't really respected the specific level of VWAP, but what it has respected are these tops. And for whatever reason, 471.50 to 471.75 has featured as a level of resistance. So if the market stays doing the same thing that it's been doing, I'm very interested in shorting Meta at these levels. And here it is. It's coming in. So let's put where our money where our mouth is, or somebody else's money where my mouth is. Let's go ahead and put Meta right here. And this level I'm going to put a resting order at this level. I'm going to sit at 49s. Okay, just so that I can get triggered if it makes its way up there. But the real level, though, I'm going to tell you, is I'm probably going to have to pack my patience with 49. If I get triggered, it could make its way all the way up into 80, 75, or thereabouts without me being, justified in taking a stop, because it's wicked up there before. So I'm going to pack my patience. Number one, see if I get triggered in front of the $0.50. Number two, does it then tank immediately off that, or do I have to pack my patience and wait for that 471.75 to come in, 471.80 to come in? So we'll see exactly what we get there. FFIE is now open, and it's going to halt. It's going to halt up here. It looks like to 180. Let's flip to FFIE. The Katina man got out at 50s already, and there we go. It is halted to the high side now, and it is halted at $1.80. I'm going to give you the tap in a second. The tap is 151. So it's no. Sorry. That I was looking at FLJ. The tap is now 210. So it's halted at 180, and the auction tap right now is $2.10. So it is, for the moment, looking to go higher on the open there. So we'll see what we get once that bad boy opens. Look for a 5-minute halt. If it's not 5 minutes, it'll typically be 10. They come in increments of 5. That is circuit breaker halts, come in increments of 5. But we should probably let you know, if for the newer viewers, that there are several types of halts. There are circuit breaker halts, and then there is like news pending halts. These news pending ones, they can be closed for days. Typically not, but the point is there's no specified time for the news pending halts that it's going to open. Whereas circuit breakers, you're typically going to get it at 5, 10, 15, 20, something like that. So we'll wait and see what FFI does once it opens up. LOD on this monster is 146. HOD is 390. That should give you an idea with respect to range. Meta did not trigger me here. And I'm not talking about triggering in like that other way. I'm talking about in triggering my order. It did come up to exactly 45s. And that was my concern, that it would come up into something like that and not fill me. So we'll see if it makes its way back up there. It hasn't tanked yet. It's still within the range of VWAP and that 471.50. We're going to have to keep an eye on the market, because if the market starts pumping, I'm not playing that range. The other thing I wanted to tell you about was Tesla is now hugging the 50 period on the 5 and has been doing so for a while. It looked like it was going to dip and break below 177, and now it's really like become awfully tight in its range. To the low, it has about how much range here? Let's at its best 177.11, about 50, 60 pennies worth of range on this name. And if this starts curling up and shows you that it defended the 50, I'm going long Tesla. But right now, it's still, very rangy and hasn't decided which way it's going to go. Oh, wow. It just broke down 177 as I was talking about that. So, yeah, making me look bad right there about holding the 50 period. Tesla looking like it may be headed down to the, VWAP, 176.75. I have no idea. We'll have to wait. What are you looking at?
It's headed down to the downside. We know that for sure. Also, NVIDIA. NVIDIA set it down to the downside. I'm so happy that I didn't get too down in the dumps, although I can't say I wasn't a little down in the dumps. I was, but that fat finger moment. And then it was like the IWM and TQ ideas were both good. The timing was bad. Story of my life. But you know what? You know what should be the story of your life? It's not the bad things. You can reflect on those, but really what matters is how you get back up, how you recover from them. Oh. I still liked levels that I liked in NVIDIA. Got out, please as punch, $1.50. But I want to explain what I did here.
Sorry, I
appreciate that. I mean, I'm not going to complain. Thank you, Sharif, for spinning that dollar club for me. But I want to talk about this NVIDIA because I still liked these levels I liked. That long was, it happened. I can't change it. It happened.
Dara.
But yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Because I still loved my levels, right? And I knew that 933 was a level. So I said to Dara, get it at you're probably not going to get your 933. Get it at 932, risk it at 932.60. That was another area of rejection that you liked. So I'm talking to myself out loud here. And then scalp it. Get your flat bottom break. Get out. I wanted below 931s, please just punch that I got that, got out 930.50s, and it looks like I kind of got bottom wick right now. I don't know if we're going to stay bottom wick, but this doesn't happen a lot, so I'm pretty pleased this punch with how that all unfolded. And it's just about sticking to the trades that you like. It's like, honestly, should have been just scalping NVIDIA all day a little bit, but we didn't do that. But you know what? Next week, whole bunch of 5 new days, Adara, for you to do whatever you want. That's what next week brings, a whole 5 new days for you to trade 3 hours a day on this midday show. I hope you guys are having as much fun as we are in these here wild markets. How is Sharif's occasional pal Apple doing? Apple's rejecting the 9 EMA. Oh, Apple.
Oh, stopped out.
I like that look. Oh yeah, that meta was very bamboozling.
Yeah, I got stopped out of that range, but I could still get into it if it comes back down again.
Okay. Do you want? Yeah, I wanted to say one thing too from Jay Lee. I appreciate you mentioning NVDL. I honestly want to talk about this because I've noticed, like, shout out to Sharif because I know you're very good at trading the NVDL. I find for my scalp purposes, I find NVDL a little bit harder to trade. And I think it's because it has a bit of a spread and there's a little bit less liquidity. So if I want to get in and out in like one candle, like what I do with my NVIDIA trades, I found it to be a little bit less conducive for me personally. I just want to say for me personally, and that's why I trade NVDA. Because I think I'm more able to kind of execute my trades the way I want to in the NVDA. And I will recognize I'm taking on a lot more risk by doing that. I'll be really honest, but I find that the trading has improved significantly since I started trading NVDA. And that's also because that's what I practiced with in the sim. In the sim, I was trading NVDA, so I wanted to trade it as well. And again, shout out to Sharif for kind of having that heart-to-heart with me last week and being like, whatever worked for you in the sim, just try using that in the live. So shout out to you, Jay Lee. I want to address that because I don't think I ever have, and that's why I switched to NVDA, and I feel like the trading, at least in that name, has improved since I did so. So shout out to you. Shout out to Rivian Millionaire as well. And actually, let's look at your namesake. Let's take a look at Rivian. We can't take a look at a millionaire, but we can take a look at Rivian and see how that, oh, okay, it's kind of spicy. We had that VWAP bounce here. Look where we come. Look where we kiss and reject. That's right, 1028. Now we're at a kind of a critical decision point, I think. We either bounce here. We're like, what was that previous rejection? I don't know her. We bounce off the 9 EMA, or we reject off that previous support, and we head into VWAP. And also, look where VWAP is. That's right, that pre-market pop at 1020. I don't have any reads on this right now, but I think watch these levels. Watch that 1028, watch that 1020, and of course, watch that high of day. I think something wicked this way comes in Rivian. I just don't know what direction.
Nice.
How'd your meta go?
Good. I'm trying to chase it now because now it's going down without me. I literally got stopped out top wick. That's a little bit of, that's frustrating, but that's okay. We're back into it now, but the market may be making moves here. I saw Tesla get off the schneid nicely there off the 50 period, so I'm going to keep eyes on TSLA as well because that's absolutely moving. But yeah, coming down a little bit now. Where's my entry on that? Okay, so let's put it here. There we go. We'll see exactly what we get there with TSLA. Put my stop on this one right there. And then, yeah, so I just have to adjust that. If I can send it to you for a second, because I'm still putting my stop here.
I want to laugh at this comment from Big Rob here in the chat, who was like, Lily's getting jealous because of all my love for NVIDIA, right? And I was like, yeah, I mean, Lily probably is. Because, you know, Lily used to be my big expensive name. Then I had a hard pivot to NVIDIA here. But yeah, no, I got a kick out of that joke. That's pretty funny. NVIDIA's still making lower highs. I have no problem scalping her, but I'm really proud of what I did with this trade. And I might post this on my Instagram because I think, you know, I think the best part of trading is you have highs and you have lows, literally, quite literally, but also emotionally. And the emotional aspect of it was a huge thing that I'm still learning. But yeah, proud of what I did here with the scalp. It just reminds you, you know, you got to do what you have to do. And I also think one thing as well, and this goes back to something Sharif told me when I first began on it was midday at the time. And he's like, Adara, are you a patient person? And I said,
oh, I remember
that would be a hard no. And he was like, well, then you kind of have to trade what style works for you, right? And that's why I like these scalps. I will say as well, I'm very patient in waiting for them. I'm patient in watching the book. But then when you see what you want, you get in, you get out. That's the type of trading that's worked for me. And I think as well, I appreciate someone in the chat as well was saying, make sure to be patient. And I think that it's about discovering what kind of patience is best for your trading style. For me, I have no qualms waiting for the trade, but I need to get that quick in and quick out. I need to be here. I can't be in Nvidia too long. Gotta say bye-bye, gotta be out Nvidia. So yeah, I think that's one thing I want to talk about. You good with Meta?
GCT, rounded bottom on the 5-minute, looking good to bust through mid-37s, says Robbie V. That's a whole bunch of detail. Let's have a look at what he's talking about there. If I can find my chart. And alas, I can't. I don't know where the hell. Oh, there it is. Somehow it got really small. I don't know why that happened. All right, let's load up this over here and look at GCT. If I can open it up. There we go. All right, let's load up that bad boy. GCT, see what he's talking about. So the levels here, rounded bottom, yes, kind of below that 50, coming up into VWAP at 37. It can bust through mid-37. So yeah, I do like that. I take profits before there though, just because above VWAP you keep rejecting. So that 37.45 area keeps on, acting as a level of resistance there. So I take profits around 37.40, maybe even at VWAP, because you've had wick shimmy with VWAP. But good look, not one that I've had eyes on, so let me know how it goes when you finish trading that, but good luck for you there. Some winds of change coming here on the future. It looks like as if we're really starting to curl up here on some of these names. So I'm going to have to possibly rethink this Meta short. I'm not really that much out of the money on it, but you saw Amazon pop through there big through current area of resistance, 184.90, looking to go 185 as well, so good look for them. Softy just broke through the 20 for the first time today on a closing basis, looking to go into the 50. So you can see that winds of change coming as well. Apple, yeah, not really the poster boy for winds of change at the moment, but it's also popping up off bottoms, 189.60, looking to make its way possibly back into that 190 area. Google has been trending up all day, so I don't want to use it as an example either. But yeah, there was a nice pop up here on Softy, and it looks like Softy and Amazon got the best of it so far. Yeah, I mean, Nvidia did do a bit of a bottoming tail candle there into 930.5, but it also really hasn't been the poster boy for strength on the day. It's been lower lows and lower highs all day. So we'll see what we get there. Let's flip back to some of these small cap gappers and see what's afoot there. I haven't been really looking at AMC and GME because they haven't been doing a whole lot on the midday. FLJ has kind of given up a lot of the gains back into that 50-period moving average on the 5, trying to hold up above 150. A couple of wick shimmies. This is interesting here on FLJ. This could halt to the upside again. It looks so strong, my God. Holds up at the 50, so not a bad look. I mean, I wouldn't have guessed it at the, these levels. This is an interesting level here, 154. So that takes us into that pre-market top. And it also happened to be the 50. This is an interesting area here for FLJ. I wonder if it holds up at these areas. We'll have to pack our patience and see. I'm going to load that up on a side chart because that's looking awfully good. Astis is okay, so this one is maintaining its position above VWAP. So it did dip and break below the volume weighted average price. It looks like it held up at the 50. Now incrementally putting in higher lows, but not by that much aggression. Having trouble with 470 as it's been having all day. There seems to be a bigger seller at that level. So we'll keep eyes on that. What is Meta up to? Still doing not a whole lot, but yeah, we'll see what we get here. About 5 pennies out of the money on this one currently, Adair.
Yeah, Meta, you better get to the downside there for sure.
Hopefully.
Damp it.
Damp.
Also, TQ's damped it, but they damped it without me. I wanted to get short here when I noticed that we were kind of having a little bit of, I think it's more obvious in the Qs, so I'll switch. But look at these kind of like, I know that a lot of this is probably dark pool, but look at this action to me is not super bullish. So I wanted to get short. I'm not going to get filled. That's okay. I have to feel fulfilled by not getting that fill. Now, someone might have noticed NVIDIA short flash across my screen for a hot minute. I took this, then I realized, I was like, the future wasn't really doing what I wanted it to. I took 25 pennies and I left. So sometimes you do have to scalp, right? And if you're not feeling 100% in a trade, don't stay in it. To be clear, I didn't hate the trade, but it just was one that I was like, Adara, I think at this point, you're maybe pushing it a little bit. Just don't If you don't love it, just get out. So I just got out. Not saying that it can't happen again, mind you. I think NVIDIA will continue testing those lows, but I also didn't want to give up all my gains in a trade that I didn't feel super good about in the first place, right? So you gotta weigh that out to some extent. Think that 932.25 was probably a good level, and I'll give myself a small pat in the back for that. But you know, you also sometimes have to respect your own boundaries. And if you want to leave, you have to leave. Looks like Meta is hopefully trying to break down there, so shout out to the guy to the right of me. His name is Sharif. Microsoft, you want to come down? Okay. Okay, I actually don't like this short. I initially look at this chart and I'm like, okay, the short's cool. But I'm also like, Adara, we had a slightly higher low here. And we know that 1490.20, what were those words? 419.20, I know that's a level. That was a huge level of support earlier. Took it as a baby short, small area of resistance. I don't know what we're going to do when we get to that level, so I don't want to force anything there. TQs, I'm definitely not getting involved. IWM is that kind of an interesting decision point here at this VWAP. Took a short, didn't work out. It's all good. Now we're kind of chopping and turning around VWAP. I have no place in this yet, but I think it could come to fruition. Thank you very much, Ponzi Fonzie, for the scalp. I appreciate that. Yeah, did go a little bit lower, but I can't get too low on myself because I took profit and I did what I had to do. Thank you. I appreciate that shout out. Also, Ponzi Fonzie, I don't know what kind of vehicle is the trade today, but we're going to have to find out. You know, what's the Nissan Cube trade? I don't know. Nissan Cube trade might have been my weird Boeing trades earlier. That might be the Nissan Cube trade because those weren't super successful, but I do love a Nissan Cube. Also, Kyle Burdett telling you that he's short Tesla, took out, quote, a big chunk of it or a good chunk of it.
Oh, that's a good
Nice
look there.
for
Shout
Kyle
out to
Burdett.
Big Kyle.
Hey, Kyle.
Yeah, coming right into that volume weighted average price is TSLA. Kind of a skewed looking head and shoulders almost a little bit on the 5 here. So you could have like a nice big break. I was going to call it a perfunctory break, but no, not really. That 176.75-ish area could absolutely send this market down. So keep your eye on that. A little frustrating though for myself because everything's headed down and for some reason Meta's staying up at these levels, right? I mean, even though there was that established range, it's just continuing to be up at these levels. So come what may, if it prints my out, it prints my out. That's the end of that. So we'll continue to watch that on META. Let's look at some of these small cap gappers. Wow, AMC did reject a little bit right there. So nice move down there for AMC as it was kind of holding that level all day. AMC's going down here, guys. Here we go. About to break the low of day, 441. 439 is LOD. We printed that right at 930, and it's about to get to that level again. Could this be a bounce area here on AMC? 439 has held initially, and then you've got another hold up at 1120 over here of 442. So not quite down into 439. It's not printing anything below 439 right now. So keep your eye out on a possible bounce or even breakdown here of AMC. ASTS has been doing its thing here, still having trouble breaking through 470. So I'll continue to watch that. I'm not going to take any range trades on that one though, because that's not what that one is made for. Amazon is the one that's really headed up here, and it's a nice move here on the ZON, heading up through three-quarter dollar, looking for that 185.30 HOD, and it's like 25 pennies away from that currently. Good look here for Amazon. I'll continue to watch that one. Meta's not doing anything. It's still staying at those levels, so I'm just going to continue to stay in the position. Google now, though, looks like it is breaking down, headed below the 20 period. So this is interesting here. I'm going to send it to you.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, and it's weird that Meta did not, like, didn't have that move to the downside. Like, I thought we'd play Zuck Zuck Goose with that top like we were earlier. Unfortunately, we were not. But, you know, as always, hope you print. Right now, not printing on Apple. The dead one's like, actually, Adara, I kind of want to pop up here. Like, you didn't earlier. But anyways, I got short Meta because I've been obsessed with this 75 area all day, as you can tell. Got short on that weird news-related reaction to the skinny iPhone. Then I also got out there for my previous short. Now I'm going short again because I do like what we are seeing here in terms of that rejection. Now I know we did bounce off this bottom, but we had all these candles rejecting VWAP. If we break above 85s, giving this 10 pennies, then I'll get out. I want to make about 13 pennies here. I want to get 62. So risk to reward is a very specific level, but it's still within my grasp. Also Tesla. I think I'm not going to be able to get involved in Tesla, but the anticipation is killing me. I really want this short. Why do I want this short? Look Sharif called out the head and shoulders earlier, I agree. But also look where we see the armpits. We see them at 77.20s. Or 177.20. So that is where, of course, I would like to go short, just how I read charts. Come on, Apple, keep going to the downside. What are other people looking at? NVIDIA quadruple bottom 930.50 says LOL Esports Highlights Library. I love your name. Yeah, this is a triple bottom, but I think the other thing, too, and the reason I kept shorting this one to oblivion is because we have lower highs. That's my big thing with this, right? Is every time it looks like it's going to pop, and you have had each time as well, these, especially this last one, these pretty bullish candles being like, hey, look at me, I'm going to go back up, and it continues to trickle to the downside. So I think NVIDIA could be a quadruple bottom, but I think these lower highs are worth taking into consideration as well. I don't have any trades in NVIDIA right now. I'm really only taking rejections off 932, and I'm doing so with the viciousness, swiftness, quickness that NVIDIA requires, and within reason. What else are people looking at? GME Monday will go 100%, says Nader. Let's take a look at GME. Gimme, gimme, gimme. That's what the ticker is, GME. I don't know why I'm missing some data here in this one, but yeah, right now, a little bit chill, and I would say GME is sleeping a little bit. It's in sleep mode, if you want to use a game analogy. TV is in sleep mode, but that doesn't mean it can't wake up. The daily on this chart also a little bit weird just because a lot of pumping and throwing, but I think that 17 area is a pretty nice area of resistance if we bounce.
Sounds good. I got into goggles short here. For breaks 176 and reclaims that level, I'll get out. But the future's looking down, so I'm not really comprehending what this move is. But market doesn't care what I'm comprehending. So we'll see. Break even right now on goggles. Out of the money still on META, about 10, 15 pennies or so. I'm looking for a move down on both. Tesla's continuing to head down. NVIDIA's heading down. The reason I got short Google was because it broke the 20 on a closing basis. So we'll see what comes here. I mean, I'm looking for something around maybe the 50, so maybe 175.60. I mean, that's not a whole lot here, Google. And looks like it could be double top-ish. I'm not calling a double top, obviously. 176.19 or thereabouts. We've got a couple of touches off there. So Google short. Meta short, the future maybe wants to take 18.6 on a closing base here. I mean, the market has been down all day long. Every successive pop and every successive drop has been lower than the previous one. It doesn't have to last that way forever, obviously. So we'll continue. Nice, Google. So we wet our beak there on some profits on Google. We'll see if it continues to head down. I'll be looking to take profits at the 50. That's at 59. So we'll see if it continues to make its way down there. Come on, Meta, you punk. Come down in my level. I'm waiting here at 41s. It's been hanging out at 471 2/3 for a hot minute. I'm short 57s. I'm 2 pennies out of the money at the moment. We'll see if it makes its way down. The moving averages, though, now on META are pointing up. Now, I don't want to put too much stock into that because at times they have been pointing up and then they point back down again. So, they are a little bamboozling, and that's what happens in consolidative markets. Moving averages tend to bamboozle you if you're looking for crossovers. I just want to make that point because we're talking about crossovers all week, right? So that's a look there. The one that's uninterrupted to the high side is AMZN. This one destined to break that high a day, 185.30. It's doing better than all the Mag 7 names combined, baby. Maybe not percentage-wise on the day, but current price action on Amazon. And there's really nothing really here coming in midday to back up this move. I'm just looking here quickly to make sure that I'm not inaccurate. CoreWeave raises $7.5 billion. No, that's not Amazon related. Nothing of this stuff is Amazon related. So this could just be a nice move here on the Zon. So we'll continue to watch. Come on, Meta. Let's go.
Come on, Meta.
Let's go, Meta, you punk. Let's go down. Coming into my level. I'm waiting at 41s. It may not make it down there. If it doesn't, it doesn't. That's fine. We'll see what we get there. Print in 50s. We did get a move down into 46. I'm waiting at 41. Then right up it goes again. So it looks like it's bouncing off the 10 period on the 5 here. So I should have just maybe taken profits at those levels. About 4 minutes left on the show. Any final thoughts you have for any trades or anything you're looking at right now?
4 minutes left.
I know, right?
I had no idea. For one, I would like to call Meta a punk on your behalf.
Thank you.
Meta, you're being a punk. Please move down for Sharif. Thank you.
Thank you.
But yeah, you're welcome. I'm also in a Mag 7 short, so I'm in the same boat as you, but a slightly different cabin in said boat. I am short Apple, and it looks like we're not going to be short Apple in a couple minutes. If we break above 189.85, that's why I have to cut the cord. We're right now 189.91s. I did like that we had that chop and churn. I was aware this was maybe a bit more of a riskier trade in the first place because we had a skosh of a double bottom here. But you know, you got to do what you got to do. That's my main trade I like right now. I know someone in the chat was mentioning NVIDIA shorting this if we break below that 930.50 bottom. That could be a really sweet look. Shout out to you. Hope you print on it. This has been such a fun name to trade today, and I think I'm going to reflect and come back to next week, hopefully with some more ideas, some ways for improvement, because that's all you can do. Every loss is a lesson. You have to think of it as a lossin. Not a loss, but a lossin.
I like
a loss that taught you something. Thank you so much to Bears versus Bulls as well for the shout out. World's greatest moderator. Who are you, Jay Cal? We don't know. Shout out to Bears versus Bulls.
Yes, man.
What are your plans for the weekend? Because I know you.
I've got a lot. Yeah. So today we're doing the boys workout today because we're not going to be doing it tomorrow. And yeah, I know. It's a plot twist. I like it. Breaking news. No, for real though. Then tomorrow going up to my aunt's. She's got a nice place on the water there on Georgian Bay. Yeah, so excited about that. Then Saturday night we be gallivanting. We be gallivanting downtown. It's long weekend in this country. I know for you guys it's next weekend, but this country it's this long weekend. And then Sunday is Fam Jam Day. Gonna go up see the Rents at in the Markham.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love all of the words that were used there as well. There's like, I can't even process it. But
All right.
Meta.
Yeah, printed on Meta, printing on Google, printing on Meta. So I had to pack my patience for both these positions. Let's be real about it. They were not forthcoming right away, but the idea was sound. I guess really what I could take away from this whole thing is pack your dang patience with these range trades because they don't manifest as quickly as you may want them to print, but did well on both Google and Meta shorts now. Now let's see what they do because they're both popping back up. Here, we got 1 minute left on the show. Oh, Big Kyle, $5 super chat, baby. Don't send me into the weekend without Big Kyle Burdett. Shout out to my man. He sent me some pictures there of what he was doing with a client's. This guy can get it done, man.
Oh,
Let me tell you, this guy can get it done. He was sending me pictures about all this construction stuff he was doing at a client's place. I'm like, is this your place? He's like, no, this is a client's place. Good looking stuff there, but I didn't get permission to show it, so I won't show it. But I always ask him first before I can show stuff. So shout out to Big Kyle Burdett. 30 seconds left on the show.
Yeah, this has been such a fun day. This has been crazy. We're done though on the day. We're gonna have to see you guys all next week, hopefully with some awesome more trades, awesome memories. See you guys next week. Hope you have a great weekend. Same bad time, same bad channel. And Brendan is at the Big Desk.
Hey guys, yeah, welcome in Friday afternoon as we head towards the weekend here. A couple hours left in what's turning into an interesting day. I mean, a lot of storylines, a lot of things to have a look at as far as volume is concerned.